What is good? What is good to the viewers out in the chat and people watching this once it is uploaded? This is your host, Lord of Lips, on the Know It Alls channel with another installment of a live stream. This is not a blackout this time, and I have my mans in the building. I don't think we've done one where it hasn't been a blackout. We have?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we got InventiveVitality in the building.
That's right. Appreciate it. Always honored to be on here.
Yep. So, we just coming to you guys live and direct today. We got a slew of things we want to cover. I mean, we're really just going to kind of ease in the shit and kind of freelance a little bit. Because I did live stream yesterday, about 2 hours.
Good one.
So I covered a lot of bases, but I want to kind of go over some of those things, touch on some stuff I didn't touch on. And we got some other stuff that we wanted to kind of talk about. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Please drop a thumbs up in the comments, like and subscribe to the page, share the page. Again, I always want to highlight that the essence of this channel, at least for me, is to it's an art piece to myself, to bookmark myself in time. And I'm hoping that I am able to have a catalog that I am someday able to pass down to my children so they could see my thoughts in real time during real life current worldly events. I would kill for, I say it all the time, if I could transport back to 1988 and see what my dad thought, when Rakim hit the stage, or, in 1995 during the Million Man March, and just different things that have gone on in history. I would love to see their thoughts right then and there. Right. Fresh thoughts. I don't want to hear in 2006 what they thought, I want to. So that's what this page ultimately is for me. But if you guys would be so kind and share and support the channel, I would love that as well.
Yeah, I've always marveled about that with you, mostly in terms of your social media, but just that being able to call things out, present time, everybody kind of holds their opinions to see how things shake out, and see how things, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
Right.
But I've always credited you with at least, I'm not going to say you're always correct, but, you've always been one to at least.
I'm thinking.
And it's like a formed opinion instead of just spewing ignorance.
Yeah.
So I've always marveled that about you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I was, I can't remember who I was talking to or not who I was talking to, where I seen it, but it was either on a podcast or something, but they were alluding to, it was shout out to my guys over at Thought Crimes. I adore you guys and the work that you guys do for the community and this whole actual podcasting space and streaming space. But they were talking about, because they've alluded to this Jay-Z situation that we'll get into, but they have been covering this since back in 2016 about the impending charges that were going to come, and they've called it right down the middle, exactly to a T. So I want to shout out to them. But they were talking about the fact that it's not insight, it's foresight a lot of times that they use. It's foresight. And that is kind of, what you're talking about there, is that a lot of people don't have the ability to have foresight. They see in the current time and they see the past. But I've been taught that if you take the current times and the past times, like a good algebraic equation, and if you got a good understanding of history and you have a good understanding of the time that you're in, you're usually able to have a little bit of foresight of where you're going. They say that history is the most important, because if you don't know history, you're doomed to
repeat it.
Exactly. So that would also tell you that if you have a good knowledge of history, you're able to have some foresight on what's to come.
Respect that.
What do you want to get into first?
I don't know. Actually, I kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit more.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, come on.
So you really, obviously, Thought Crimes is definitely a big influence on you. Would you say that you're your movement, your platform, whatever, is that a foresight? Are you more of a foresighter, or are you more of a current event? I'm bringing the truth, because I guess that's how I've kind of always used you in my own selfish way. Is like I struggle with getting real journalism.
Speak up just a little bit more.
Real journalism and real, real authentic content that's not just pushed with an agenda behind it. Like you really try to pursue truth and stuff. So I guess my question is, are you a foresighter like you described, or are you a current event describer? Maybe.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I would say for me at least, it's a little bit of both, and I know that's the cop-out answer. But again, if you search for the truth, you have to ground yourself. And this is a lot of people's problems. I know me and you kind of gone back and forth, not going back and forth, but I've kind of told you about this. And you can, tell the viewers kind of a little bit of your history. And, I'm sitting next to a Gemini, and I told you, so you particularly struggle with, we joke about it all the time, so I'm not breaking any news, but you struggle with picking a side, or not. I'm not talking about like in historical sense or anything, but you are somebody that questions everything,
Sure.
that's a good element too. But for what we're talking about, your question, you have to have some fundamental beliefs and principles. For me, I'm kind of building up to what I'm saying.
Yep.
And then it helps me be able to line stuff up, because I'm using my knowledge of history. I'm trying to dig into the truth of today. Then I'm able to have foresight on what I think is coming by those things. So to answer your question, I dig throughout. I try to find the truth in the crux of everything from the past and in the present, but I also use the lens sometimes of the past to see, for instance, I'll just use this for instance. I understand early on, way before this whole anti-Semitism movement, I understand from school in history that I remember learning about the Holocaust and things like that. And I remember a big part of that teaching was about the propaganda that the Germans were fed at the time. Right. And I remember taking a good deep interest into that word propaganda, because I am somebody that likes the psychology of the human experience. Yeah. So I'm like, man, they really convinced all these people of these things. And we know North Korea is, in this Western hemisphere, we accuse all these other countries of giving propaganda of other countries. But what that taught me during the time was, I go, in American social studies, I'm learning about German propaganda and Nazi propaganda. I'm like, surely there's American propaganda. So it made me start to look at our history, and you start to open your history book and you start to go, surely this ain't just them having propaganda. Yeah. So I use that as well. So I try to I never wear my alliances too much. I mean, I would say I do. I have some different alliances, but as far as America goes, I try to understand that we are in the belly of the beast. So I try not to just get American news. Yeah. I try not to just see it from the American point of view. I try to see it from more of a central point of view and other people's point of view. And that kind of helps me with those things. So hopefully that answers your question. The point of the matter is, you got to try to dig to the root truth of today and understand and look at things from different point of views. We're going to talk about some of these things later, but I always encourage people to look up both sides. Not just look, don't just be empathetic and look at it from their sides, but actually do the research on both sides. There's information out there on Assad and like his perspective on what's going on, and then we get fed our own information. But too many times we just take our own information and make an enemy out of people. Yeah. So that's how I kind of look at that. Go ahead and what do you have to say with that? I need to edit something here.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say. I feel like you answered the question. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say about that, actually.
Okay, tell me kind of what is your history with that? Like, how do you go?
In terms of propaganda?
Yeah.
So, when you first said it, my initial thought, some of my earliest reactions to propaganda and whatnot was like the weed propaganda that they used to put in like the 40s and the 50s, right? So I saw back in high school, I was a little pothead back in high school, whatnot. I went to my man's house, and in high school, his parents had this propaganda from like the 50s, and it was something like, reefer makes I don't know, it was something about the devil's lettuce, and I just remember being like, obviously at that point I was already ingesting the herb and whatnot, so I was just like, wow, like this is crazy, but people really believed it, and they used it as a symbol to just, because that's like a real thing. But a lot of people don't understand the projection of that. If you're right, you feed yourself right-wing material constantly. If you're left-wing, you feed yourself like-minded material, and it's just reestablishing your already set beliefs, which is the direct opposite of
getting
the philosophical thought.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, pursuit of truth, philosophical thought, whatever, those all boil down to the same thing, really.
And I will say, and that fight and that journey is really daunting, because I will say one thing about you that I've always found interesting is your search of truth and how many avenues it's led you to. For me, and you've talked about this, in some instances, I do have fundamental beliefs that I'm like, it's not moving. This is what I believe, and you always tell me, that could be dangerous too. And I know that, I've always known that. But I will say, to that point, there are things that you want to not be able to be swayed on.
Facts.
Because there is concrete truth out there, and too many times we allow, especially in today's day, with all access to all information. Sometimes I bring this quote up all the time. I remember the great brother Malcolm X said that, at least for my community, he said our people was like the pig, and he kind of drew the similarity with the cow and the pig, and the cow has 5 stomachs. And so when they ingest all this food, they're able to digest it into the right parts. The pig doesn't have sweat glands. It doesn't have all these stomachs. So it just takes everything in. You know what I'm saying? And that metaphor is to the information age, is that sometimes as a people, especially with the internet, we just consume so much garbage and so much good stuff. It's hard to distinguish what is what. I had one of my homies today tell me, we was talking about, I'm sorry, I was shitting on Shannon Sharp. I was saying I haven't been a fan of I haven't been a fan of the Shay Shay podcast in a while. He had the good knockout home run with Cat Williams. I think he's been leaning on that like Cane's leans on their cane sauce.
You got another one coming.
And I've been accused of what I'm about to say. My homie told me. B Mitch, if you're watching, fuck you. He was just like, everything don't gotta be so deep and tingle your third eye. And I told him, I said, I get so sick of people saying that to me. Like, no, I understand that. Everything doesn't have to be, but like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, you should probably go to a different channel, though. I mean, if this is what you're trying to do, the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of correct information.
Well, no, I don't want to challenge. I don't want to limit people to what I'm saying about my channel. I'm just trying to challenge people on that fact of the matter is, why can't we be on that quest to tickle our third eye all the time? Why everything that we should be consuming should be of benefit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I understand that there's comedy out there and there's surface level stuff out there, and sometimes people just want to reset and get away. I understand that there's a community for that. I understand that there's a place for that. But
in the rat race,
even in those fields, you should find content that does challenge you and push you forward. That is the point in entertainment and art. That whole form should be pushing you forward into evolving. And now I'm not the person to say maybe that surface level slap happy stuff does move. I can't say for everybody. I'm just saying for me, I've always, and my friends out there, anybody that knows me knows, they can attest to this. I've always, shout out to you. That I think that's Nasty Natty. That gotta be I don't know if that's Adam Scott, but if it is, shout out to you, brother. I've always been one since a jit that I have monitored. Yep, I knew it was. Shout out to you, my dog. I've always been one to monitor what I consume. Even since I was a jit, I'm like, I don't listen to that music. And people's like, why not? I'm like, I don't feed myself garbage. I just, on a day-to-day basis, I try not to. And to a point, it can drive somebody crazy. And it probably has driven me crazy that everything that I consume, a young jit, mind your business, Shay. Everything I consume is kind of like an echo chamber of, to your point, some of my reoccurring beliefs, but I challenge myself outside of my own beliefs too. So I don't want to make it seem like I don't, but I'm just saying, like, we need to do better at challenging ourselves. Shannon Sharp, and that also raises the bar for content that people have to put out. If we're just okay with people putting out, I've said this about music, and now here we are in 2024 and everybody complains about the state of hip hop. And I was saying it in 2011. I'm like, hey guys, like, we should be a little bit more picky. We should be a little bit more critical. Sometimes I get online and I troll and I say shit, but my means to doing that is to raise the bar of whatever that field is. I do complain about low budget movies because, like, they shouldn't be giving us low budget movies. You know what I'm saying? But if we just take everything like everybody's willing to do and say, oh, no, there's a place for everything. No, we can't be too inviting in certain fields. That's what happened to hip hop. Yeah. Hip hop was too inviting. And it became too accessible to the common person. Now people can make it out of their basement, but there aren't true musicians. And then it devalues the actual musicianship of the fucking field. And that's what we deal with.
I got to revert back about 6 minutes probably. All right, so we talked about your concrete beliefs and my lack thereof, and how it can be dangerous to somehow have those concrete beliefs. But I realize, and I've known this for a long time, the potential of this at least, that there's danger in not having those concrete beliefs also. So as I try to find concrete footing, as I try to, really expand upon certain things that I can hold in my core values, there's definitely, room for false interpretation. There's room for deception. There's room for all kinds of things because you don't have that concrete foundation.
Yes.
So I definitely want to bring that up there. I don't think my way is the truth.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like my pursuit of truth, I would put over a lot of people's pursuit of truth. We have the age of information. How often do we use that shit? We're talking about content consumption. I talk about this all the time. What are you consuming? What content do you really take in? And, when I'm hiding from the world and I see my man over here, doing whatever, I tell you, I talk to you about it sometimes, man. You're consuming that shit. You're consuming that. And he has to go through this to kind of water it down to give y'all the truth, like we said, the object of this page. But it's just one of those things I feel like so many people don't even consider. What are you truly consuming? What are you really taking in? And how does that affect you at your deepest levels?
Yeah. And brilliant point. And it has such an effect on us and we don't realize it. And then, we try to get to the crux of dreams. And we try to get to the crux of emotions and these non-tangible things that we don't actually see. And we wonder where these things come from. And it stems from that receptor that we have that, to your point, we consume all day, every day. And we think millions and billions of thoughts a day. And if you don't if you don't allow yourself time to meditate and flush those ideas out, it manifests in some way. There's input and there's output in a human psychology. That's just the nature of the beast. Yeah. And people, we just don't even consider that, even you walking, just shit that you see passing by, the smells, the pheromones, the thoughts that you think. And the funny thing about this is that, they say dreams is the time where your mind finally is it basically tells your body like, thank God you shut the fuck, like you settled down for the day, because now I'm up and now I'm at work. So your brain kind of separates itself from the body at that point when you sleep, kind of like a computer, and it finally gets to manifest all the things that the eyes have traveled to see. Because you just got to think sometimes, your brain is at the mercy of where you travel. I think of the man in the traveling man. Shout out to Most Def, the traveling man. And just think about it, man. The places you go and what your actual eyes see. Sometimes you privy your brain to that. You put your brain at odds with that, and then your brain has to deal with functioning it out. And that's why they say that there is obviously power in the tongue. You got to watch what you say, because your brain can't tell the difference between a joke and what's not a joke.
Yeah.
And you attract that energy.
A direct manifestation.
Yeah, you attract that
subconsciously.
Yeah. So, essentially, I don't even know how we got here. Definitely it was, that's why I'm calling this a freelance.
It's about the soul's expression. So we're talking about shitty content. Your soul's expression is to give you all the real content. I have a similar burn, a little different, but
I just want Shannon Sharp to stop sitting in front of his guests, especially in the realm of the people that he's interviewing, our culture and stuff. And who am I? I'm a guy with no following. I'm just saying, I'm just giving y'all how I feel, and my intuition's usually right. I almost feel like it's just like a money grab thing now. It's just a thing he does. I don't really feel the passion and love for it. It's starting to get too routine for me, and he's starting to become a character of himself, like a character of himself, like the whole Unk thing, the whole Hennessy drinking thing. Because it's like you just sit there and you're asking Kiki Palmer questions off a page, you're asking Kamala questions off of a page that's written down, and then you kind of just yep, and then you might like chime in a little bit here, but there's no in-depth, there's no freelance conversation like we just had off the whim. Like I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. There's none of that going on with Shannon no more, and I really just don't know what's up with that. I was gonna go on a crazy rant.
We're freelance.
Speaking of that, man, Shannon, what's up with your boy LeBron, man? What's up with your boy LeBron? LeBron has taken a sabbatical from social media. He did that about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, okay, interesting, whatever. Now he's taking a sabbatical from the Lakers for personal reasons,
which is a different level of, in my opinion.
We see the rumor mill in the news. I told people on Facebook today and stuff, I said, guys, I've told Hoden, LeBron's team, guys, take it from me. I'm not telling you guys, I'm not telling you anything made up. LeBron Clutch Sports, they throw these things out there. If there's one thing that you guys should have learned from Hip Hop Civil War this year, is the fact that these big entities, how important it is to control a narrative online. Okay, if there's one thing Drake and Kendrick was showing you guys, was who can control the narrative controls how the story is written. We talked about this earlier. And Clutch Sports has done this for a long time. And they actually, I said on my last episode, I got good information from my understanding. They've learned this from actually Jay-Z, who is king of controlling the narrative. Notice, LeBron has not answered. Chael Sonnen 2 years ago came out and said LeBron does PEDs, confirmed. He knows the guy that does it. The same guy that supplies LeBron supplied him. LeBron let it fly. Okay, LeBron let it fly. It was a big deal for a little bit, but LeBron let it fly. He didn't respond on social media, and then it kind of died down. Then KG made a comment about LeBron being juiced up, and LeBron let it die down. He didn't address these directly, but notice, LeBron is notorious for, he said something about everybody else's situation. He'll get online and say something about this person and this person. And he's always, if Curry breaks a record, he'll tweet something to Curry. And then he never, ever addresses the elephant in the room. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say LeBron has still failed to mention anything to do with Diddy. He has not mentioned anything to do with this whole situation. He has not mentioned anything to do with the LeBron situation, the Bronny situation. So these things and he has not addressed the PED situation. He has not used his platform to address these things. And like I said, I don't blame the man because I understand the power in what he's doing. I'm just saying I play the narrative game. I'm just letting people know what he's actually doing. So when I come out and say that, people say you're a hater, you're hating on LeBron, and they try to make it like this thing. And I'm like, no, I mean, I guess you could make the case I don't like the guy, but I don't like the guy because I be seeing the move. Like I see the moves that he makes that makes me not like him. You see what I'm saying? And I'm a narrative spinner myself, guys. I've done it my whole life where I know how to draw a narrative and I can make something up about a person and get it online and I could just drive the narrative home and it could be completely false. I could just do it for fun. But I also know that teams and big entities work in reverse. It's part of business. You got to control the narrative about your business, and Clutch is a whole entity. So why is LeBron taking a sabbatical and why is he off of social media?
I mean, there was a recent album that came out. And the first song of the album is called Whacked Out Murals.
Okay.
And I
Give it to me.
believe it's the last verse. Maybe second to last verse. One of those last couple verses. He really doubles. He's talking about, we all think it's cute. The Diddy situation is cute. But now everybody's nervous.
Everybody's on trial.
Yeah. It's I don't know. That's an opinion I got. We heard that he was at the parties.
Mm-hmm.
All this shit's coming out. Jay-Z's under hot fire.
Mm-hmm. And I know we've heard this time and time again. Top of the year, the FBI, the new FBI director, Cash. So you were saying LeBron not mentioning Hov right now is him saying what exactly? No more stats without saying what you're saying. Shane be wanting me to just say it directly. We've been joking about that. So I'm saying I was just highlighting that to say I don't think it's in his best interest to mention Hov. I don't think it's in Hov's best interest for LeBron to mention him. I understand that play. I'm highlighting that it's an intentional thing that they're doing because I think a lot of people just be thinking stuff be happenstance. I'm here to chronicle what be happening during the real time so people can see how I come to my conclusions. That's my whole purpose of my channel and live stream is I'm trying to do people the solid because I come to conclusions. Y'all call it foresight. I come to these conclusions. Typically in the past, I'll get on my social media and I'll just say my conclusion. I wouldn't show y'all the process on how I got to my conclusion. Right. I'll just say my conclusion. And then I'll argue with people and I'll say, okay, we'll see in time. And then now for the last 2 years, I go on my memories every single day and I comment under and say, interesting, because it happened, interesting, that happened. And I'm trying to show people the process. I'm just trying to highlight what LeBron's actually doing. There's intent in him not mentioning the Hov. Could he have known that this whole thing was coming down the pipeline? He made the announcement 2 weeks ago that he was having a hiatus on social media.
Yeah, I don't know. So to answer Shane, I think.
Yes, Shane says, yep, I think Hov told everyone lay low right now. Let me handle the shit. You don't say shit. I don't need your help. Probably. I'm sure that memo was sent. And LeBron is we know LeBron's closely associated with Jay-Z. Closely.
I will say, though, if all this, some people claim it's a smear campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say it's,
Joe Budden, 2 pods off. I'm not taking that lightly either. And the thing with the Joe situation is because I know he did Joe Budden. Joe Budden actually tweeted out like, hey guys, I know it looks nasty because I know it's the run. So the running joke with Joe Budden is in their whole podcast, they're called Hovengers. And every time there's a story about Hov and P. Diddy, they do these weird breaks or miss an episode all of a sudden. So it's been an ongoing joke. Like their fans make fun of them for it. It's a funny thing that they do. But Joe Budden, who never misses episodes, has missed the last 2 podcasts. Now, he did come out and clarify it. He got ahead of it because he's seen the chatter. And he was like, hey, guys, I know it seems funny. I know it's, we laugh about it, but I'm actually having some family issues. I'm not rolling.
No, you're not rolling with that?
I don't care. Oh. My thing is I don't care because in this space that we're all in, this content space, Joe if Joe Budden was sitting in my seat or in another person's seat and there was somebody else that did the exact same thing he's doing, like the amount of times, he would call them out.
Yeah.
He wouldn't care about their reasoning. He may have a legit reasoning. What we want to highlight here is that it looks away. It's clear out time. ISO on me. I don't need y'all to say anything. Yeah, probably. But it just looks away. It definitely looks away. Joe Budden is closely associated. I think he has ties with Jay-Z, and he definitely has ties with P. Diddy, with Revolt. And he did a show with Revolt a few years ago, State of the Culture and all that, funded by P. Diddy, funded by Revolt. So we get their relationship. It definitely looks away, and I don't mind any of these things. But I want to get back to the LeBron situation because there's two things that I want everybody to be wary of. It's really interesting to see. It's really interesting to see how the people, and God strike me dead. God, I cannot believe this. The people that seem to have gone up against Drake, they're getting their smear campaign done first. You see what I'm saying?
You mean like Rick Ross or like what? Give me an example.
Diddy, Jay-Z, now Jay-Z. I'm having brain farts. Now I'm all of a sudden blanking, but there's other people that was involved in the beef that seem to be lined up, for exposure time. I mean, even like, UMG, Lucian Grange, this whole lawsuit and stuff like, and it's really, so there's that. And LeBron was the other person that I was alluding to, because we know LeBron was siding with Kendrick, and we still haven't gotten to the bottom with LeBron. What's going on with LeBron and Drake? No one has still gotten to the bottom of it. Savannah James again just posted on her Instagram story 2 days ago, in her caption, Luther, Kendrick, and SZA, and she was in the mirror looking. Savannah looks lovely, but again, she keeps. Drake did some slime shit to either him or someone close to him. I think it has something to do with Savannah. That I've always kind of been under that impression. It has something to do with Savannah. I almost wonder, Shane. If it's a woman related for sure. Rumors finally started to rumble about the fact that LeBron might be a little bit like MLK. And if you guys know anything about MLK Jr., MLK, he's the image that we got. He's the civil rights leader. But if you look into his actual files, and the FBI did this to kind of smear him and stuff, when they released wiretaps and his files and stuff, he was a drunk and a womanizer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was a drunk.
Yeah, he was drinking and he had a lot of women issues. So me, I search high and low for LeBron content. For years, there's been rumor mills and women coming out where the story bubbles just a little bit, then I don't hear about it again. Where women have come out and said that they've had interactions with LeBron James. Okay. Rihanna was a big name associated with LeBron. And no, we remember Rihanna and Savannah had some smoke for each other when LeBron was in Miami. And Mario Chalmers came out and Norris Code came out on their podcast maybe 4 years ago and confirmed that LeBron and Rihanna had a thing when they was in Miami. Wow. Like for sure. And I don't know if you remember, if you're too young, like Rihanna was pulling up to all Miami. She was always on the sideline smirking at LeBron. There's pictures out there. It was a public ongoing thing.
Celtics fan.
So anyway. I'm wondering here, tinfoil hat time. When you're this involved in Hollywood, LeBron's a billionaire. When you're this involved in Hollywood, guys, there's an initiation. Hey, I'm not mad at that. Savannah looks good. Savannah's a beauty. Not only she's starting to lean into her sex appeal the last few years, but even before that, she's just a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's been natural.
She's a beautiful fucking woman. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's held LeBron down. we've never seen a story like theirs. I gotta give credit where it's due. We've never seen a family held down to this. Even my beloved late great Kobe Bryant had some smoke in there. They've had relationship problems, family problems. LeBron and them have kept their shit so close knit. But I hate to be this guy. There is smoke there, guys. There is smoke there. I think about the Delonte West, Gloria James situation. I think about the LeBron James and his father situation. I think about the LeBron James and his brother, Aaron McLeod situation. Exactly. And that brother. What this tells me is the fact that these stories were able to be silenced means that they had the power to silence it. Shout out to Hove, who showed Brown the game. You can hire crisis management teams. You can pay to get these stories silenced. And to my point, I remember rumblings of Instagram models and stuff saying that they had affairs with LeBron James. I'm not saying that they're true. I know people make these kind of claims all the time. I'm just saying the fact that story, it was said and it didn't pick up traction is what Stephen be paying attention to. I don't pay attention to the rumor. I could care less. It's like, does it pick up traction? It's LeBron James. Okay. And if an Instagram model or somebody comes out and says, hey, I fuck LeBron James, that should pick up traction.
For sure.
But when it doesn't, I'm like, that is interesting. So I think LeBron James and Savannah, because Savannah has popped out lately. Savannah's been popping out since oh man. Should I go there?
Do it, man.
Can I go there? LeBron James moved to LA. LeBron James and his family has moved to LA. Okay. And they've gone Hollywood. We remember him trying to trademark Taco Tuesday. We remember his family has been in a lot of commercials. They've done movies now. He's tried to put his sons into the kind of spotlight, their celebrity status and stuff, commercials, movie roles, all types of stuff like that.
Ronnie got the Diddy rumor and shit.
Yeah. So it tells me that it almost seems like there was a flip, like an initiation thing going on with the James family, and they're a part of the boys club now. And what that means to me is that LeBron and Savannah, I think, guys, have been swinging for some time.
Maybe. I mean, that's a popular thing out there in Hollywood.
It is. I think that they've been swinging for a while. I do.
You ever see the videos of the little models popping out to the Lakers game? Like,
yes.
LeBron's looking at me.
Yes.
He keeps looking over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, what's a man's biggest weakness?
Yeah, and I'm saying, guys, listen. There's a video out there that happened last year where LeBron was sitting next to Jeannie Buss. You guys remember this video?
They had the Lakers owner, right?
The Lakers owner, and they was on the bench. It was two white women on his outside, and he was in the middle, and Jeannie Buss was all up on LeBron, and it looked away. And this isn't my take on it. This actually made people was talking about this. They was just like, oh, okay, LeBron, this is so he's gotten. LeBron might be swinging. I think here's what I think. We know that Kendrick said something to Meet the Gram. Savannah don't be looking lifeless. She don't. I don't think she's even close to that level. I think that initiation ritual stuff, that goes further and further. You got to go through a humiliation ritual. You got to do occultism shit. I don't think she's at that level. I just think she's in the door of these parties and stuff. Yeah. And she's in the beginning stages. She's actually is about to have her surrogate now. Oh, her surgeons now. Probably, maybe you're right. Maybe we see a different Savannah. I do kind of see her trying to be this like figure now. Yeah. She's being more of a public figure. But I just think that they've been swinging, or I know that there's code for these Hollywood terms and to let people know that my wife is available, or like we're into this kind of thing. Yeah. Hold on real quick. Kendrick said something to Meet the Grams that I think will meet the words to. He said, "You be streamlining your victims all inside of your house and calling them tender, and then leak your dick to further push your agenda." I think that in some weird way, I don't know how Drake had the idea or he felt like Savannah was into all of this Hollywood kind of she's available type deal, and he made a pass at Savannah. This is really what I think.
That's the root.
I think LeBron and Drake's beef is about Savannah. That's just me.
And I mean, like, we look at Drake's track record, that's a very safe bet. I mean, for sure. What I wanted to say earlier is that I feel like with this smear of Jay-Z with LeBron, like, these are literally the pinnacles of our society. Like when you look at men, especially, you look at the youth, like, who do they say the best rapper is, the best basketball player is, the best businessman is? You know, we're like, if this shit comes out true, you know, they were involved with the diddler, they was, you know, whatever. That'll be a catastrophic blow to the culture.
Yeah, and
catastrophic.
Keep going if you got some more, because I got a lot to say.
Go ahead.
It won't come out true. Yeah, whether it does or does not, Shane, I think the thing, again, for me, this is how I come to my conspiracy theories and conclusions, because I create them on my own. I think the thing to look at is that these people know, if you've been associated with Diddy, let's just do it like this. If you've been associated with Diddy, and you know, you would say, let's pretend that we're Diddy affiliates, and we know, and we're famous, and we got our own entities. If you know for a fact you actually been at these parties and stuff, wouldn't you try to start trying to get ahead of it? I know what a guilty man sounds like. Have y'all read Hove's letter to that lawyer? I know what a guilty man sounds like. It wasn't that. Shane is fighting hard for Hove.
That's your man, though.
He's fighting hard for Hove. I don't care about that. I mean, I do, but to my point with this LeBron thing, and what was you saying about the LeBron thing? God, I just lost.
It would just be catastrophic to the culture.
It'd be catastrophic to the culture. So I think that right now, all of the people that have been closely associated with Diddy, this has been the trumpet has been blown for them to start getting their shit in order. Yeah. You know, if you're a smart man with lawyers on retainer, which all of these celebrities have handlers, they have publicists, and they have family lawyers on retainer. Like, they pay these lawyers, and just in case. So you would start getting ready to get your shit lined up, because we know that this Diddy thing, I cannot stress it enough, the Diddy charge was a racketeering charge. So that alludes to the fact that there's other people madly involved in this conspiracy, this ring that they ran. And we know that either they're going to do what they did with the whole thing and redact it and add people to the list. Hey, the report, the redacted thing, it says that it was Jay-Z, P. Diddy that takes that 13-year-old into the room and rapes her. But what else does it say that I forgot to cover yesterday? It says that there was a female celebrity, unidentified, unnamed female celebrity with them. So what does that tell me? That tells me if you're a female celebrity that's been closely associated with Diddy, you better start getting your shit in line, because you're next. You're the one next, because now they put you, they didn't say nobody's name, but they Jane Doe'd you. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm a female, if I'm J-Lo, if I'm Mary J. Blige, was I not asking when was the last time we seen a one-man racketeering? Yeah, you definitely was saying that. And it's not, you know, we know that this we know what they're trying to do. We don't gotta, on this page, we don't gotta try to, you know, do guesswork or anything like that. We know, at least here, we assume, we all agree with what we're seeing here. Lane called it a potential smear campaign. Yeah. And again, I'm not here admitting guilt or saying people are innocent. That is to be tried out in the court of law. I do have my own opinions. Go ahead.
I think, you know, I hope all this, when it's all the dust is settled, you're riding with Jay-Z, that's fine. I ain't mad at you for that. But I do hope that truth prevails. And I do think that shit with Beyonce is weird, man. They're different ages. And Jay-Z lying about his age. They lying about Beyonce's age. That's weird shit. That's guilty conscience shit. So if there's real issues there, I believe in accountability. So I will say that.
What do you think about my point that I brought up, my issue with the Blue Ivy thing? Did you hear that yesterday?
Yeah, I heard that. And obviously for the kids, I was going to say that about LeBron too. I see how he's like kind of rolling his sons out there. I want to see how he does his daughter in a couple years, right? Because his youngest kid is a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to get that Blue Ivy treatment, or is Savannah going to kind of keep her under wraps? And I'm real interested to see how that one goes down, because it's no secret that you kind of got to watch your daughters a little harsher than you watch your sons, right?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up, Shane. Shane wants me to read the letter. Let me see if I can find it here.
That's a horrible picture of Jay-Z.
I'll read it. So here is the letter that was immediately released from Rock Nation. My lawyer received a blackmail intent called a demand letter from lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file criminal complaints, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?
We agree.
These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case.
We agree.
This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family, my wife, and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit.
Beyonce as a child.
Oh my God. You have made, this is the part that Shane likes. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I am not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these type of games. We have a very strict codes of honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. Mic drop. It wasn't written by no lawyer, straight from the horse's mouth, for sure. But he deleted that post and 5 minutes later went back up and reposted it with the last sentence. Yeah. I mean, we covered that yesterday, and like I said, my last episode was labeled Double Dragons, and we know that there's something going on with Hov and Diddy. In fact, Hov has still not mentioned Diddy one time. We remember for about 2 months since Diddy's arrest, everybody was joking how 50 Cent joked about it, Cameron joked about it, the common people joked about it. We were saying Hov has like gone to Malaysia or something. Like, they were completely silent. Didn't say nothing. And this is a close, you and Diddy are close associates, super close associates. And we haven't heard one word about Diddy, not even in that statement. And you're attached to the Diddy lawsuit. What he say? And every time you raise your fingers like that and wave and wag, them balloons go up on the screen. That's my answer.
I was wondering.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, I was wondering why that happened.
That's
like happy birthday type shit.
That's kind of tight. So what does that say to you, Shane? Like, what does that say to you that Jay-Z doesn't acknowledge P. Diddy at all. Like, he hasn't acknowledged the P. Diddy situation one time.
That's so suspect to me. That is just...
And I don't want to incriminate anybody. I'm just saying what is coming down the pipeline. And my job is to just warn people, hey, Hove, get your shit in order. I told you guys, I think there's double crossing going on. Hove been building his case. Okay. I'm sure this has been his angle. Tell me the win from this. Tell me if we guys kind of remember the Mike Jack situation, guys. The first case, it wasn't even close. There was overwhelming no evidence on him. But the other family found out that it was 20s of millions of dollars involved in just doing that. They were like, oh, Mike's settling, because what happened is there was overwhelming evidence that Mike was innocent, but his team was telling him, hey, bro, we're so tied up in court. You're losing more money than if you would just literally settle and give them $20 million and we can go make it on these concerts. Because you're costing this whole empire money we're tied up in litigation, dude. So, but Mike was just like, then the second lawsuit came out because he settled for the first one. And when he settled, it opened up the media and everybody went wild with just calling him Pedo Mike and Wacko Jacko because he settled a case. Like, he never was even accused. I mean, he never was found guilty of these crimes, but like, people still to this day smear his name. I mean, they did a great job at smearing Michael Jackson's name. The second case, he actually fought. And there are other cases he fought because once he knew he set that precipice and settled the first time and people got money out of him, then a whole bunch of people started saying, let's go get Mike and for his money.
Milk the cow.
Let's milk the cow. And he was just like, no, the fuck y'all are not, bruh. So he started to fight the cases and he got dragged in court for years. He was in and out of court. Years. So I'm just saying, this is a civil suit first. Criminal charges are following right behind this, guys. The feds are working. And the way that they're doing this, it already tells me that they got evidence that they need. They don't got evidence maybe that they need to find to get him guilty, but they got these pictures and shit that they're going to leak. Hove's superpower is he don't ever speak unless he wants to. So him not speaking isn't weird to me. Yeah, we talked about that being his angle. Early on. I'm just saying, what do you have to say when they start leaking this stuff that is going to incriminate him to the public? He is going to be hung publicly before he ever is actually found guilty in the court of law. Shame. And I'm saying that it's not just as bad as being actually behind bars, but I'm saying that has severe damages, bro.
Carries weight. He built this empire for a long time. To watch it crumble and burn, I mean, especially for allegations that aren't true, that's a tough pill to swallow.
I talked on here yesterday about Ramir. Guess what happened today, Lane? Ramir live streams on a podcast. His alleged son, for sure, but I think Hove is from a certain cloth. Maybe. And I'm not saying maybe in a passive-aggressive way. I'm saying maybe, like, the only cloth that I think that actually matters is you being willing to sit down your billions of dollars. There is a cloth out there of what I believe to be about that cloth. I think of the minister who has willingly been blackballed for a long time, but he has his own program. He has his own program going on to where he doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So if Hove is willing to do you see what happened to Kanye. You see, they made him a billionaire, and then y'all remember last year they literally took it in a day and they said he's not a billionaire no more. How you lose $1 billion in a day? A couple billion in a day. Hove trying to leave the game in 03, 04. I don't think it was just because of rap. I don't think so. That was a getaway and rebrand time for sure. He fake retired, but he tried that for sure.
That was a nice copy.
I think there was some other shit going on there, but I also think I also see with me, Shane, it's going to be hard for me and you because I know you fuck with Hov, and you know I fuck with Hov. But my overall sentiment is that I'm not trying to glorify Mr. Shakur, but I'm just saying Pac had some disdain for Hov, and he called him very certain names. So I wonder what Pac knew. I'm telling you, Pac has a good track record in this vein that we're talking about, because if you remember, I told you yesterday, I can't say for certain Pac was the first rapper, but I almost want to say he was the first rapper that this kind of prototype that they're doing, this happened to Pac, guys. He was set up at Quad Studio, then charged. He was set up with a rape case. And if you go back and watch in 94 and 95, he literally said he was going to shoot himself because it was driving him so crazy. He was mad at the culture. He said, I'll never make a Keep Your Head Up, Brenda's Got a Baby again because y'all are thinking I rape bitches. You know what I'm saying? He was screaming outside of the courtroom like, I did not do this shit. They're setting me up. He was literally waving the flag, hello, like breaking the fourth wall, saying, does anybody, he was saying, this isn't supposed to be my real life. I'm playing a character. This isn't supposed to be my real life, but they're like, literally, I get shot. Then I get framed for rape. Then I go sit and do 9 months in prison. And then I come out and
they said I was raped.
They slandered him in the media. Then he came out on a 96 revenge tour because he was so pissed at the media and everybody's thing. But then Pac also started talking a lot about getting away and not going back to prison. He'd start talking about one-way trips to prison. I'm not going back. Listen to Ambitions as a Writer, the first song out. You could choose the way you leave. So I'm just saying that I think Pac knew a lot of industry Hollywood shit. He also was calling Puff Cream Puff. He was alluding to Puff and Dre being gay. He alluded to Dre touching kids.
He was very early into that.
He was naming his album Illuminati. You know? So it makes you wonder, like, you know, Pac was a movie star. Pac was a rap star. I think Pac had a view on that in crowd in New York at the time. He probably knew some wild shit, but let it all fly on everyone. Almost like if I see you with him, it's true for you too. I would agree. I think he started connecting dots as like, okay, Hov, you're running with Big in them. You running with Bad Boys.
Guilty by association.
But I do think, because Pac has publicly questioned how P. Diddy even had the power to blow Biggie up. Pac was questioning, like, what the fuck is up with all that? How does Puffy got the power to run Bad Boy? Like this black nigga running Bad Boy? At that time, we didn't see no black exec. You know, we didn't see that. You had Suge Knight with Death Row, but that was some other shit.
Right.
You know, that was some other shit.
But he was also calling P. Diddy a fucking fed in like 93, 4.
He was shouting it to the rooftop. He was shouting at Haitian Jack, and all them was all feds, like CIA members that was literally put in rap. Pac was literally saying these things. So, off on a tangent. My point is that when Pac starts to say certain things about certain people, I have to give him the respect and honor to let it play out. So now here we are, 28 years removed from some of the shit he said and him not being with us. And I gotta say, I gotta see the Jay-Z. I can't say Jay-Z's guilty or not, but I'm just saying Pac looked at you in a certain light, and now you also tied up in some of these rumors, and it's starting to me, I'm like, hey, that's a little bit too much for me. When I know that certain shit that Pac said, it has so much power to it, and it's like it unfolded with time. Again, look at the foresight and the shit he said about P. Diddy. Look at the cover of the Machiavelli with the Dre getting fucked by the white exec behind him and all of that shit. And I know Kendrick runs with Dre and all that. Dre got an answer to some of the shit Pac accused him of. I'm just saying. All these people that Pac lined up, it turned out he was dead right about.
I was gonna say a lot of that shit has been confirmed true. Like numerous people have came out and said Dre has done some suspect shit with dudes. Like this is like almost like an accepted thing at this point.
Industry insider.
But then back then we was like, what the fuck?
Pac is wildin'.
NWA.
Pac is wildin'.
Yeah. So I hope, for the sake of the culture, I hope Jay-Z is as innocent as possible. I think he has an example of some suspect activity. Beyonce is his wife.
Mm-hmm.
The Aaliyah thing was very suspect. And just the way her and Diddy and R. Kelly was just throwing them bitches around. 2 of them motherfuckers is in prison.
Shane, I think more or less with Hove is what me and you said yesterday. I've always felt like this. I think Diddy is a Fed. I think Diddy is a federal agent. I've always thought Diddy was a federal agent.
But what they're done with it now?
Yeah, I talked numerous times about making a deal with the devil, and I genuinely believe it's as simple as, hey, you got 25 years.
You had your fun, and now snatching it back.
Yeah. With Hove, I think knowing Hove and how we know everybody in the culture knows Hove to be an opportunist, is what they call him, a capitalist opportunist. I think he's got in shoulder to shoulder with these people, industry insiders, feds, and stuff like with good intentions to really get the power and become a billionaire and become the boss. Hove will slime you out quick to move up that ladder, but I think he does it in his brain with good intentions for the overall benefit of Black people. I believe that. But I think what's going on here is when you play that cat and mouse game, we've read stories about Lucifer, and we know how when you play that game, the last one figured he was Magneto. You play God, you're going to get what you ask for. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, when you make a deal with the devil, this is high level Illuminati chess. I totally agree. And I'm just saying, I don't know these guys to lose.
Yeah, that's what that was going to be my next thing. Like, damn, these motherfuckers.
Now, Hope said, I'm going to show you guys all how different I am. You up to the test? I would love to see it. They got Mike the fuck out of here. They got Prince the fuck out of here. They got Pac the fuck out of here. They've got Malcolm X the fuck out of here. They got MLK the fuck out of here. They got Toussaint Louverture the fuck out of here. They got Muammar Gaddafi. They got the Black Panthers. The list goes on and on. On and on. On and on. So if Hove is able, because I always told you guys, I hoped it was Kendrick. I think Kendrick got the power play. I've always said I thought Kendrick was the Neo in the Matrix. He's the bug. He's the antivirus into the computer to blow the whole Matrix up. If this is a Matrix, we need an antivirus. Upload an antivirus to this motherfucker. And I've always believed, I really believe Dot is the antivirus.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's Hove. Honestly, I think Hove's got too much selfishness in him. Now, he's always been one to give back, and Lil Wayne got locked up, and he was helping him with the taxes, and he was, he helped 21 Savage. He's done little things like that, but I think it's like y'all said earlier. He's quick to snake somebody. I think it's a Machiavellian philosophy that it's me versus you. I'll help you comfortably, but I can't sit here and say that I truly believe that Jay-Z would give himself for the culture, or would Jay-Z be a martyr for the people? I can't sit there and say that, but the Neo of rap, I might see Kendrick lay down. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'd have to do some more research on Hove, but
I mean, and I think that it's all crumbling. So it is not martyr time. No, yeah, it is. No, yeah, it is. I fear it's martyr time. I believe that all of these I think when we talk about it ad nauseum at this point, I think unfortunately, guys, we're seeing these different industries crumble. Like we're witnessing these industry things crumble.
But it's America. It's America, and like the top is gonna crumble first. And then as we see America just wither away, which it's been happening, all of our idols and the people we put a importance of authority, they gotta crumble first. And this is just like,
but here's the thing. You're right in a sense. If you guys are out there, look into Rome and the Colosseum, and you know we the gladiator and all that stuff, but also the actual history and stuff like that, and even Babylon in biblical sense and stuff like that. Like during those times, they said like when Babylon was getting ready to fall and stuff. The entertainment was so high, like the people were so distracted with entertainment that they weren't even paying attention to Babylon or Rome crumbling behind them. With this case, I believe it's like that. Like I think the writing's been on the wall for a long time, but I think like literally what we're going to see is the inside out. We're going to see these industries, these actual entertainment industries, like we're seeing the sports world is going to crumble.
Yeah.
We're going to see entertainment crumble.
Government is crumbling.
Government is going to crumble. Rap is going to crumble.
Education.
It's going to crumble, and then we're going to collapse in on each other because it's going to drive us crazy. I think COVID was a good test.
COVID really shook the world.
But listen,
it really shook the world.
COVID was a good test to see how we react with everything shut down. Another thing that you guys need to be paying attention to is the emergence of AI. It's not coincidental. These execs and these powerful people, they are trying to purge. The first lawyer that snatches up Dwight Howard, we're going to get some answers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
that's wild.
DJ Academics is so dumb, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. He's such a fucking fool. But the emergence of AI tells me, because we feared this too. Another thing, I think a lot of people's beef and my bigger beef with the Drake AI thing was an artist at that height using AI like he didn't set a good precedent for what's to come down the pipeline. And this is how I know Drake to be tied in with certain people. These people are contemplating how to purge. They're trying to steal our intellectual property. It's a big fight going on between the creator and the
consumers, or what?
The creator and the people that push the creators,
okay,
that control the actual industries.
Yeah,
that
algorithmic.
These people are trying to figure out how to replace, just like in the restaurant industry or the workforce labor industry. Y'all don't think these CEOs and stuff are considering and having meetings about the great replacement and the labor force? And we've seen the whole strike, the port strikes and shit like that. That was based off of AI too. Some of that was due to AI, artificial intelligence. We're seeing mass layoffs. We've seen it in Hollywood, the writer strike 2 years ago. That we've seen labels, the record labels lay off hundreds of execs and stuff like that too a couple years ago and stuff like that. They're cleaning house because the emergence of AI is here to replace us. All during after COVID, they were making me and Hunter. Yeah, exactly. They're not trying to pay him that. Me and Hunter was talking a few days ago on the mic, and we talked about just the fact that there hasn't been we said that Oppenheimer was one, and we named a few other, but we talked about the last good Hollywood box office smash classic hit. And we were talking about the fact that there's not that many of those no more because there's A24. There's smaller production companies that are putting out these independent films that are really fucking good. But it's not like it's this big Hollywood thing like it used to be, to where everybody you went to your work and everybody was talking about this movie's getting ready to come out, the preview. Right. That hasn't happened in a long time. I mean, we've had some, just a little bit, but it used to be
we don't watch commercials.
No,
we don't listen to the radio.
No,
like all these fundamental marketing schemes are dead.
They're
in the water. Like,
so let me see what Shane said. Yeah, but I also don't think the labels are as profitable as everyone thinks. I do not think streaming is a good long-term plan, and I believe they have seen that. They built a house on a faulty base over the past decade. I agree totally.
It's really sad.
Streaming was good for. It's not a good long-term solution for the value of music.
At all. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I was talking about this yesterday, actually, about how motherfuckers used to buy the CD for $20. Mm-hmm. You got your boys, you got your blunt, and you had to listen to it.
Yeah.
Track to track to track.
You had to fall in love with that.
You skip work at school because Jay-Z was dropping, or because, we don't have to deal with none of that. Like, I mean, it's literally $6 a month. There's no way that this is truly profitable.
Bingo, Shane. Bingo. I told people 2 years ago, I said, guys, I mean, there was mass layoffs and stuff like that. And then I was talking to y'all a few years ago, and I said, look at the numbers on YouTube, bro. If you go pre-pandemic, an artist like Drake, an artist like Kendrick Cole, go look at Middle Child by J. Cole. Go look at God's Plan by Drake. They were doing close to literally 1 billion, 500 million views, guys. I didn't think it was real then. I didn't think the views was real then. But yeah, oh my goodness, all the YouTube views was way up back then, because it was before 2020. We was in that decade, and everybody's had inflated numbers. It was all good. What happened when they start doing the mass layoff, like Shane said, I don't think the numbers, that they was just like, hey, this we ain't getting our return. So they started pulling out, and the labels have stopped backing so much, and we started seeing a little bit more realer numbers. And Kendrick dropped Mr. Morale, Drake dropped For All the Dogs, bro, and he was doing their YouTube videos. Go look at their last. Just don't question me on it. Go look for yourself. Besides Not Like Us, which was a cultural phenomenon, and they did have some label backing. Go look at Rich Spirit. Go look at Count Me Out. Go look at some of the shit For All the Dogs. Go look at J. Cole's last shit. 30 million views on videos. How does the same artist, you can't tell me the same artist goes from 1 billion views to 38 million views. There's no logical explanation. And I've seen it happening on Young Boy videos and all types of people, artists' videos. And I'm like, writing's on the wall to me. Writing's on the wall. The emergence of AI, guys, is a lot to do with this. They're going to try to wipe these artists out. But y'all think that these people think that the whole thing is going down? No, they're making plans on how to survive without the artists. And their plan, them execs know that. I don't know where music goes, but they will definitely experiment something. Yeah, they're experimenting with AI. We seen earlier this year on one of my first streams, we talked about, I can't remember the robot's name. Y'all remember the first AI robot that did the
Tom or something?
AI rapper. FN Mecca. They try to roll this shit out this year.
I did not hear about this.
Yeah, they rolled this motherfucker out this year.
2019, 2020. That's crazy.
And it didn't work. It went over like a turd in a punch bowl.
Thank God.
Guys, I took shot a music video and everything for sure. I took a 1.5-year break off of social media back at the start of 2021 because I was going through some mental things. But one of the things that it just shot me, I remember it was late December when I had enough, was the Facebook and the Meta. Facebook was turned to Meta, and Twitter, before Elon bought it and turned it to X, was turned into Meta. They were trying to do this whole metaverse thing.
Yeah.
And I was telling y'all on the mic, I'm like, I'm not with none of that type of shit. I'm not with none of it. And same. So my point is that just as well as who's my man from Facebook? Ugly dude that owns Facebook. Zuckerberg. Just as well as Zuckerberg is getting ahead of this, just as well as Jack Dorsey had to sell Twitter and all this like virtual reality shit that was coming out. The rapper executives are doing the same thing. They're trying to get ahead of the next 10 years, which will be virtual reality and artificial intelligence. The creator, y'all are done. We got y'all's intellectual property. Thanks for recording into these mics. We're tracing y'all's voices and
tired of paying y'all.
We're tired of paying y'all.
600 million. Drake wants 600 million. And he's out the door.
It's like, no, we could just invest that actually into one AI robot that does all your intellectual shit, and we just don't gotta pay that thing ever again.
Wow. As a consumer, what do? Squeeze the true artist or what?
And I think Drake is suing for B's actually. Yeah, he's suing for billions. But as a consumer, you said as a consumer?
Yeah, I'm a consumer of music. I don't create music. I consume the fuck out of music. As a consumer, how do I keep my true authentic artist, which I already struggle with?
We have to fight for them and we have to fight with them. This is my point on why I got off of social media. I seen that coming down the pipeline and them rolling it out. And Metaverse ended up tanking, by the way. Metaverse tanked. And also, Mark Zuckerberg has been tied up in litigation, guys, this past year due to some of that. The TikTok situation, the TikTok ban that's coming. All of this stuff, it's all the same pot. That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to read the news and read this and put it all in the same pot and see the writing on the wall and what's going on. This shit is crumbling. And you can see it you're going to see it in the billionaire and trillionaires moves on how they fucking moving and where they moving their assets and what the fuck they doing. That'll tell you what's really going on. But my point is, what do you do as the consumer? We have to put our foot down. We cannot be enticed. I told Khalil and Hunter and all them guys, the whole headset thing and all that stuff. We can't purchase these things. Because yes, granted, in that avenue, it's like, oh, there's no harm, no foul. It's just games, and I want to be courtside, and I get it. It's real cool for my family. But that avenue alone is connected to, like what you said, artists not having a job no more. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Once we're into that virtual reality market, that becomes the market. If they could sell us a headset to convince us, like the Matrix, if they could sell us a headset to convince us we're courtside and people are buying it, what's going to stop them from doing it with artists? Like, where does the ball stop? It doesn't stop.
It does not stop.
So I'm saying we got to put our foot down on these things and this emergence with AI has me completely beyond alarmed because I cannot believe a society that has grown up on movies like The Terminator. Well, we can't fight harder than the artist.
That's a fact.
That's true, but that is partially true. It's partially true.
Come back to this. What were you gonna say?
Damn, what did I say? What was the words I just fucking said? Oh, I've been super alarmed with the emergence of AI. I told you guys previously my true feelings on Elon Musk. I'm a little bit skeptical because, again, in the same vein, he's pushing it. He started Neuralink.
The way he was pushing Trump just repeatedly during the election season was just like, it was just, that's your man. You're on the cabinet. I get it, but it was alarming. I mean, that was heavy projection there. Hey, man. It was the amount, and it was just the excessive. I mean, I get siding with him. If you truly believe that is the truth, that is the way to go for the country, I believe that. I feel you. But you still have to watch how you're presenting yourself. There was just Like, if you just go through his Twitter during that time, it was crazy.
So do you think Shane? Okay, I see what Shane's saying.
I can see
Do
that.
you think? Let's just all lay it out here on this stream. Do we think what Elon is doing is with good intent? Because so his juxtapose, his public intention is saying that we have to merge with AI. It's our next step in our evolution. In order for us to survive the next 10 years, the solution may be AI.
Which is feeding his pockets, directly feeding his pockets. That has to be said.
Okay. Now, do you believe that he believes that? Or is it more sinister? It's one of those two things is what I'm alluding to.
Do I believe that he truly believes that AI is the next step of our evolution?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he does believe that. And I think he's probably got some good foresight on situations of the matter. But I don't think the allegiance of AI is our next step of evolution. I disagree with the statement. I believe that that's probably what he believes.
I don't think Elon is a capitalistic guy right now at this juncture. What y'all want to know what I think? Like, I don't think he's pushing Neuralink for dollars. No, I don't. No, this is beyond
money.
What is
it? Power?
This is beyond money for me.
But he's got the power already, doesn't he? He's got the biggest platform.
Yes.
He's got spaceships.
He has the most money, yes.
The most money.
Yep.
He's got, all the influence in the world.
Yep.
He's got the AI shit coming. How much more power does he need? He's already he's not an American citizen, but he's on the U.S. cabinet. How much more power does he need? Or what is the
power, control, experiments, pure curiosity, intuitiveness? I don't know why my brain is literally designed like this, guys, but I always come with conclusions on what I see somebody doing. And to me, I think Elon is a mad scientist. What if he's siding with Trump? Because again, Trump is anti-deep state, right? Deep state is pro-war. Deep state is keep America how it is, keep the world order how it is, and let the deep state continue to march on other foreign territory. That's what they do. Trump is against that. Trump is an isolationist. Trump is pro-America. Trump is let's close our borders. Let's get people the fuck out of here. Let's get out of Ukraine. Let's get out of Israel. He's all about let's just lock ourselves in the United States and let them figure shit out. That's essentially what Trump is saying. And we talked about on this channel what I believe that leads to. An isolationist in this time of war, conflict, it lends you opening up to a lot of things. Is it possible that Elon kind of sees that, and in order to gain, he knows he can't be a part of the deep state boys club. He knows that he's not. Is it possible that the best way for Elon to get into the most powerful seat, the most powerful nation, the most power and control, is to co-sign Trump, get Trump in there? Trump isolates us, and it's me and you, Trump. It's me and you, and I got more money, I got more power, I got more influence, and you don't have no allies no more.
That'd be a mad scientist move. I don't think that's horribly far-fetched. The deep state versus Elon, I could see why he would have to go with Trump. I gotta say that I'm not the biggest advocate for Trump. I'm not a hater by any means, but I think he definitely saw some manipulation areas of Trump. Trump's very sporadic, and he's very
Trump is horrible.
Yeah,
I think Elon is a madman, and he will just do shit like he looks at people like mice. I'm telling you guys something.
I would say the same about Trump, though. I really don't think Trump's all pro-America like he gives the vibe of.
I think he is.
But old school American belief system.
I think really... Trump speak. The reason why Trump won in a landslide, the reason why we knew Trump was going to run in a landslide, the reason why he's going to be Time Magazine's Person of the Year, the reason why I just said yesterday he might be on Mount Rushmore of presidents is because Trump, again, guys, always remember our overall sentiment. We're all sitting here saying it's crumbling, right? That's what we're saying. It's crumbling. So if it's crumbling and Trump is speaking to the American people, he's fearful. He's speaking to his people. He ain't speaking to me. He's speaking to his people. He sees the writing on the wall. He's fearful of what's actually going on. So he is pro-America, but that's all he is. He's trying to save a lineage of people. He's trying to save.
Who is his people? Who is Trump's people?
White America.
Okay, all right. Because I like who's Trump really willing to fight for? I mean, like
if
we really gonna get
the Republic of America, white America, like that's the bread and butter of America.
Is that
MAGA
America?
Huh?
Is that America?
Yeah.
No, it's a small ass percentage of America.
No.
Bruh,
I just think
the white man is the minority at this point.
No.
Yes.
That you're telling me numbers. I'm telling you fabric. I'm telling you fabric of things.
I hear you. I just think I hear you.
All that other stuff can be here. Every other thing in America is based off the fact that they added amendments to the amendments. You know, my citizenship, me being an American is the 13th Amendment. Like that could be abolished at any point. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm just an addition to the Bill of Rights and the Constitution that they've already had. Mm-hmm. So isn't other immigrants and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The point of the matter is he's trying to save the core crux of America.
Yeah, that old school mentality.
That old school is what America was founded on.
It's problematic.
He's trying to save that. The point of the matter is to what ends, the means to what ends, and what does the angles that these people of power choose, what does it lend you, to? Like what can happen from the choices that you're making. And I'm just saying, I want to just circle this back to Elon. My nose is so far up at Elon. My eyebrows, I should say. My eyebrows are so far up at Elon because I'm telling y'all, his origin story, very alarming. The South African thing, very alarming. The apartheid thing, very alarming. Nikola Tesla, very alarming. His grandfather, very alarming.
I don't know the Tesla link.
The whole
Nikola.
Yeah, Nikola. Yeah, the
I don't
energy.
know that
It was
link.
him. It was him versus
Einstein.
Yeah, and that whole power electricity thing, interesting. Then we got the Tesla cars, the electric vehicles, and all this and all that. Just very interesting. The Neuralinks and all that stuff. Like Shane said, mad scientist at work. I just don't believe. I think he's a product of his what he's also pitching. I think he is a Neuralink. I don't believe Elon is a full-fledged human being.
That opens the door.
I just don't. I was saying in 2015, I'm like, bro, watch it. I was watching his interviews and I keep saying it. Go back and watch those old interviews. He's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot better now that he's like ingrained in American culture.
Yeah.
Like, and now he's on X every day. He's like tweeting out funny memes and like he's
right.
endorsed in American culture and he's really good at it now. Almost like a computer.
But it's a persona. I mean, ultimately, it has to be because he used to be like this super nerd. Like the first time he was on Joe Rogan, he was like stuttering and like nervous and just like real. And now you look at him, he's like
that's what I'm saying,
yeah.
Shane. Like, go back and look at those interviews, bro. Like, he was like literally, you would ask him a question and he thought
about it for a minute. Then
he
stuttered.
Like a database, like a computer, like an AI, like artificial intelligence, but like the first trial of it, the
early remnants of it.
Yeah. And then now we're seeing prototype 2 and 3 of Elon Musk, but he's an AI.
He just uploading shit, new info and new riz, all kinds of shit.
Man, I'm telling you guys, anybody out there, go look at Elon Musk's previous. Then next time he was on Rogan doing shrooms, eating anchovy pizza, right, and smoking weed. He learned Joe Rogan like that. He was, and it's almost like he had to get ingrained in American culture. He had to find out, and just like a computer, just like an AI database, he started learning these things. And then now, like Lane said, now all of a sudden he's positioned himself to create a whole government agency that never existed, Doge.
And he's literally in the capital, or like not. He's in the cabinet of the most powerful country in the world, if we still sit at the top of that. But roughly.
Yeah, we're definitely still the most powerful. But the point of the matter is, Elon's development along the way is very peculiar to me. That's what I'll say. It's just very interesting. And
you think? Go ahead.
I just can't stress enough that the same guy that is pushing Neuralink is the same guy that owns SpaceX. That's the same guy that owns X. That's the same guy that owns electric vehicles. That's the same guy that is now in a government seat. And that kind of power, and is the same guy that, as of today, is now the world's most richest man. He's the first man ever to cross $400 billion in modern history. His net worth, as of today, $400 billion. So not only are you the guy that creates Neuralink and you're this inventor, but you're also the richest man on earth. That's not like, have we not seen movies? Like, have we not read books? That's not a good mix.
Not a good mix. Do you think Elon has the potential to save the US dollar? Because if you're going to save America, you must save the US dollar also. They coincide.
Okay, so I can answer that. I'll give you two answers. I'll give you my first answer. US dollars toast. Yes, my first answer is I don't think that's his intent. So could he? Yeah.
But if he's going to save America, if you're going to make America great again, the US dollar has to be intact. And as we say, it's toast. I agree.
But are you saying, when you ask that, are you just kind of steering the conversation on a hypothetical are you saying?
I'm saying that this is the most influential man in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's now head cabinet of the most influential country in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We see the number one currency in the world crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one country in the world is crumbling. And he is supposed to be the savior of that. Does he have the possibility to save the US dollar? He has to. I'm going to look that up, Shane. Because I want to know too.
Yes. What?
His question. What is his cabinet title?
They created Doge. Him and Vivek Ramaswamy created Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, which is now an official embodiment of the government. So in the cabinet, he's the president of, the president, and Vivek Ramaswamy is like the vice president of Doge. But yeah, could Elon could he save the American dollar?
He got 400 billion of them.
But he got 400 billion of somebody else's money. So could he save the American dollar? Not really.
Too far gone.
Yeah, well, you just got to understand. Again, we just talked about pump and fake numbers and what happens exactly.
Yeah. You got all that money in property and
we
stuff.
just watch what happens. Exactly. We got to remember that the people that he is now actually at war with, if they're actually opposing each other,
which is who? Who's he at war with?
The deep state. Okay, so the Rothschilds have a famous quote. One of the Rothschilds, he said, "We don't care who is in power as long as we control the money. Okay. They are the creators of the Federal Reserve. And we can never, ever lose sight of that. When we talk about the deep state and stuff, we have to understand that there is a group of people that fund all world currency. Okay. So can Elon save the dollar? Well, he would just have to go to war with the people that control the dollar. Do we think Elon can survive war against the people that control the dollar? That would be your question. What do you think?
My intuition says no. But then I also, where as a society, where are we at without Elon Musk? Because let's say Elon Musk gets whacked. Where's our projectile landing? I mean, I feel like you probably slow down a lot of progress.
See, but here be my problem with you. We're sitting here. I'm giving you the direction in a sinister plot, and then you take it and then put like goodwill and good intentions in your theory.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? You're saying why? You're basically saying, what will we be without Elon Musk? They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but I'm talking about us. Elon goes to war. Elon goes to war trying to save the U.S., save the U.S. dollar, gets whacked. Where does that leave us? America. Fuck the deep state. Fuck the politicians. I'm about the people. I'm about the youth. That is my burn. So when I'm contemplating these topics, when I'm looking at our future.
Shane said, ask the question again. Lane initially asked me, can Elon save the dollar? And I said, well.
He was there for that question.
Okay. I said Elon will be at war against the people that control the dollar. And we talked about the Federal Reserve. And I said, the question becomes, can Elon survive going to war against the people that control the dollar? Then Lane said he doesn't know.
Probably not.
But then he just aborted that and said, where does that leave us if Elon gets whacked? But real shit. No, we can't just.
All right. Well, next podcast, I want to know because.
No, we can visit it. I'm just saying your brain has to ponder deeper on the thought of if he goes to war. I mean, ask it again. You're saying what does that leave the people? Leaves us in the same old. Elon ain't that powerful. It leaves us in the same old position we're in.
He's the most influential man in the world. That's what we said. We agreed upon that 3 minutes ago. We'll have to talk about it next pod. We'll have to really think about it.
No, I'm here. I'm saying Elon
Shane, where we at without Elon? Elon gets whacked early 2025. Does that change the projection of man and the evolution of that? 100%. 1,000%.
Of course it does. But I'm just saying we're not at the hand with us in Elon's hands, with us outside of Elon's hands. We're not in no better position, essentially. That's where the thinking goes astray. Yeah, nope, wrong, Lang. He is who they let be the most exactly. That's what I'm alluding to. They are the most influential. We said Elon because I wasn't trying to talk about them, but again, I said earlier their famous quote, the Rothschild, who we don't care who we put, and we're gonna talk about Haiti and all that stuff. They're the ones in control of that. They overthrow governments. They set shit up to place a placeholder in a government. They set up the presidents. They set up kings and rulers. They're the most powerful. They're the most influential. They give influential people to us. They'll give you a Jay-Z. They'll give you a Kanye West. They'll give them $1 billion to make it seem. They'll give Elon Musk $400 billion. But like, who is Elon Musk if they don't give him that $400 billion? He don't have SpaceX. He don't have they can sink all that.
Well, all I gotta say is this right here is why I am nihilistic. What the fuck? What the fuck is the point?
What do you mean?
We living in this crumbling ass country. You only, bruh, see.
No, come on.
Y'all gonna get me started. Y'all gonna get me started. All right, so we live in this crumbling ass country. The deep state literally controls the media, the money, the education, everything. And we, in the age of information, just deluded, distracted, everything going wrong. Where the fuck is the truth? Where the fuck, like, how do we make this shit shake? How do you shake the reins that you are given?
See, you don't believe.
I don't believe it. I don't believe shit.
You don't believe. See, one thing that they do. See, this is my thing with you, Lane. You'll get information and you'll have the information, but I don't know if you actually necessarily be believing the information.
No.
Me and you, before I ever mentioned, let me tell you something, Shane. Before I ever had mentioned anything to Lane about this, what I'm about to say, one time he drew a picture and he was like, hey, I drew something I want to show you. And it was like an alien, like with a blunt, and it had like the news, and it said 5%, and then it said 85%, and something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, we talked about it a little bit, and then I started bringing up the 5%ers, and I told them about the 15%, I mean the 10%, the 5%, the 85%. 85 is lost, 5%
is the doers that really live
are the
that
doers.
life.
They know the knowledge and they're trying to free the 85%. And then there's 10%.
This is where we disagree.
There's 10% that know the truth but are trying to lead people astray, and they're the bloodsuckers of the poor.
Yeah.
They're the rich and they're the bloodsuckers of the poor.
And I believe, this is my personal belief, that the 10% is the ones that either one, they see the truth enough and ignore it, or they cannot finish with the truth. That 10% is like that middle, they're trying. And I almost feel like you're never a solid 5. You're in and out of the 5 to the 10, because who is perfect all the time?
It ain't about,
But it's about, where are you? Are you really living that life, living the 5%er life, or are you kind of in and out of it?
No, see, but me and you watch The Matrix a lot, and then you're not putting that into the equation, because I was going to lead to something. There's agents in the Matrix and there's double agents. Okay. And same in the 5%, same in the 10%. Okay. There is people in the 5% that have to go among the masses and pretend to be a part of the 85% to wake up some of the 85%. You see what I'm saying? You're like me before I stopped giving a fuck, laugh my ass off. I always had the belief that I can play the game, get in with the bad people, and do good despite the powers that be. Hovest. Me too, Shane. Show them how to move in a room full of vultures. But no, my personal belief with Lane is, I think sometimes, again, I was talking about it earlier at the beginning of the podcast, sometimes it's so much combination of information and philosophy and different things that he actually knows and looks into, that when we're coming to a conclusion, he has trouble actually coming to a concrete conclusion, because he's pulling from so many different places. 100%. Okay. And I'm saying it be confusing me, because I'm like, well, you believe this, and like, this is how you would get the conclusion for that. But anyways, you said you're nihilistic, but I'm saying, dude, the thing about the 10% is that they know the truth, and they want to just continue to be in the bloodsuckers. But the first thing I said is that they know the truth. Okay. The 10% know the truth. They know the truth, and they put it in their works. You have a central grounding belief, a moral compass of sort. Yeah. Foundational beliefs. Hold on. Go ahead.
So I feel like my lack of the, central grounding belief, my moral compass is very much like intuitive based. I feel like everybody kind of has to find their own foundations of virtues, and we don't typically do that. We get shit handed to us. So if we're going to talk about core beliefs, I truly believe that people are deceived. Mm-hmm. We deceive ourselves. Mm-hmm. So when we're coming to a full-blown conclusion, I put the deception of man in that equation. So fuck yeah, I got trust issues like a motherfucker. I feel like we've been lied to my whole life. I feel like they've never given us the truth. So when people claim to have the truth, I'll be like, the Buddha says, if you see the Buddha on the road, kill the fucking Buddha. Like, I truly believe we don't have truth. We get little aspects of it. So I definitely struggle, you know, call it my Gemini, but really I got mad trust issues. I do not believe in man. I don't believe in people's intentions. I don't believe in people's words. I got to see the action when you're not aware that people are watching your actions. If that makes sense, because that's when your true, authentic burn comes out.
Read it out loud.
Yep, I get that for sure, but you don't want to be the guy with all the questions and no solutions. I feel that. Saying his thoughts, even if he's wrong, I'll feel that.
That's what I'm saying. You got. It's just. I think it's just a fundamental. I think it's a fundamental difference in us is that you have to be able to. They say, you know, the famous quote: "Stand for something or fall for anything." You know, are you gonna live on your knees or die on your feet? That's what all that saying is the same fucking thing. It's like you got to be willing to die for something. Like you got to at some point. And I know you have principle beliefs, foundation beliefs. Like you know,
I got burned for certain things for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, right from wrong. There's certain shit you just ain't gonna allow your daughter to. You got core, but I'm talking about when we get into this philosophical, esoteric kind of area. You have a hard time grasping onto anything tangible because it's so broad.
Yeah.
But
and direct experience is a big factor.
You said you struggle with direct
so if I haven't experienced it directly, I've never experienced a ghost or a paranormal activity or something. So when I hear somebody else
shooting star,
maybe I can't accept it. See, that's a whole nother thing. Like I'll be really, you know, questioning these things. But I'm also aware, like, maybe, you know, I talk about this all the time, the painting Michelangelo had, and it's a man reaching out for God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, and God is in the clouds, you know, reaching out, and it's like almost touching, but it's not. And it very well could be because of my own closed-mindedness. And I've accepted that too. So I don't claim to have the answers. I don't claim to be right about everything.
One of my favorite Mac Miller quotes, guys, on Faces is everybody want to be God. Besides God, he want to be like us.
Like us, yeah.
That's that Michelangelo painting.
Yeah. And, you know, we're talking core beliefs and whatnot.
Yep. And Lane has done that before, and I'm like, motherfucker, stop doing that. It's like when a guy that posts a direct statement or opinion on Facebook, and when someone comments a direct contrary idea, and just blindly the guy will say, "Oh yeah, I see what you're saying." It's like, no, there's power in dying on a belief.
I could consider the contemplation of people's thoughts a lot of the time. Now, do I take them as truth? That's where I draw the line. I'll contemplate anything. You tell me you have truth, I'm gonna call you a liar.
Yeah, but I mean, but the man, me and Shane, we talk to Hunter about this sometimes. It's like the man that's subjective all the time, the man that sees everything all the time. I see it from your point of view. I see it from your point of view. On one hand, you're saying you need direct experience, but then on the other hand, you're saying, well, I see it from your point of view. Well, how? And that's his point of view. That's his direct experience. And how are you seeing it from his point of view? You know, you're not taking into your experience and what you've seen and getting conclusions off of what you've seen in your direct experience. You're looking at everybody else's point of view. No, the truth is within you.
Yeah.
You know the truth. You have the truth. Every one of us has the truth in us. It's just a matter of, do we believe it or not? Do we accept it or not? We've all been given the truth. This comes full circle to your praise on Stephen. The end of this is called foresight. Exactly. It's being able to trust when you think you've seen the truth, being able to trust that truth and having, that's called faith. Like it's faith. It's like, oh man, no, I really believe that. And there is flaw to that, to your point. And you've always said that you're kind of scared. That's where your receptors start throwing you off, because it's like, I can't believe myself. I can't trust myself. I know philosophically I shouldn't trust myself because we're all lying. And then it gets too confusing. But I'm saying in that you've already admitted, you've already saying you already said earlier that you believe that you didn't say this verbatim, but you essentially said we've all ran into the truth, or we've all had inklings of it, or
little moments
of it. Well, then that was the truth. You know what I'm saying? That was the truth. You might have passed it up, but to say that no one has the truth, no, that maybe someone does have the truth, because what you're alluding to was little moments of it. They went forth with it, that belief. You know what I'm saying? And they continue to go forward with that belief. This subject's a really tricky thing. Sure, yeah. Tricky thing.
It's just shit I talk about with my therapist.
Mm-hmm. It's a tricky thing, yeah. But I'm just saying it's very interesting, and it's also very I can understand that kind of thing would drive you crazy, because sometimes I'm so concrete that it can drive me crazy. Trusting your studies and all of your knowledge about a situation to at least say and that's a lot of people's problems, not necessarily yours, but most people don't do their 10,000 hours before they try to kick game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I agree.
Definitely agree with that.
I agree. A lot of people speak on shit before they really kind of looked into it a lot. I mean, that goes on a lot. We've all been guilty of it too. But ultimately, like, back to your point with Elon Musk, I think that, again, I'm not saying anything concrete. What I'm saying is that we have to look at all these angles. And the thing that I always want to drill into with you is that when you have a ultimate conclusion, now this is going to be, you're going to say this is just called reaffirming beliefs. But when you have an ultimate conclusion, which sometimes me and you talk and we be on the same page, we'll have an ultimate conclusion. We'll say, okay, this is crumbling, or this is that. Mm-hmm. And then we'll talk about a million other things, and you're not, I'd be intentionally talking about certain things to point you to the reaffirming belief. And it's still down here. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, you don't see that it's all connected to that, Elon Musk. I'm not coming to any conclusion. I told y'all my gut feeling. I mean, some of my intuition is that I don't believe he's necessarily pure natural. I think something's up with that. Not saying it might have been from birth. I wrote something in my notes years ago that I thought it would be a crazy movie or a crazy story if he was actually a product of the Neuralink, like he was a child, like his parents did that, and like he was a child of the Neuralink, and then he didn't really necessarily created it. He found out in his later years, like, hey, I'm actually a Neuralink baby, and then gave it to the world. I wouldn't be shocked. These are all loose end theories that I have, but like to Shane's point, I'm coming up with these just off of intuition, information. I'll be coming up with these. My point is, don't rule these things out. Accommodate your information. Read what you see. Read the information. And don't forget your ultimate conclusion that you've already agreed to yourself with. You see what I'm saying? If this is crumbling, all of this stuff is on the table. We've already seen what we believe to be an impossible. There's drones in New Jersey. They've admitted to aliens. We've seen 3 presidential assassinations. Don't tell me anything's impossible. That was impossible 10 years ago. Yeah. You'd have been a Looney Tune to sit up on this camera and say that would be happening 10 years ago. It's all on the table. There's a sex pedo ring being exposed before our very eyes every single day. Again, we get so caught up in the moment that we sometimes don't step out of the moment and realize how actually fucking crazy it really is.
Yeah. I probably think about too often how crazy it is. That's probably part of my problem.
You think?
Yeah, because I really be at this point of like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? I could be the best father. That does not necessarily change the world for my daughter. I could pay my bills
remember
to
me,
the end of the world.
But do you remember the conversation me, you, and Justin had about deployment for the war?
Yeah.
I know. I know, Shane. I know.
What?
Yeah, we talked about that a million times, dude.
Oh my God. Minor attracted person.
Yeah, we know what they're trying to do. They're trying to buy time. We've talked about this language. They're trying to buy time. They're uncovering all these other people, but they're trying to buy time, and they're doing this in the meanwhile. That's also that's the political part of it, is that they're the transgender movement and all this. They're adding that to the LGBT minor attracted person. They've been doing that for a few years, trying to get that into the public. We're not accepting it all the way, but they're trying. They're putting it in our shows. They're trying. And that's a Zionist thing, guys. That's a Jew thing. I'm telling y'all that's in the Talmud, and they do that weird shit. But they're going to try to buy themselves enough time, the deep state, for that to come into our society and be accepted, and then they'll be able to unveil themselves, or will unveil them as minor attracted people, and they won't go to jail. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Though their hands will be clean. That's what's going on. That's the times we're in. But where were you getting? Oh, you were saying, fuck, what were you just saying? Oh, you were saying, what can you do? We had a conversation about deployment a month ago, me and Justin, and I was saying, well, why would y'all go deploy? And then you explained to me kind of what you just said there. Well, I understand that. I got to fight for my daughter. I got to fight for this person. If it's in my fate, I might have to just go do that. You have to consider the morality part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I think that I just feel like it's so easy to be like, the end of the world, the end of America. I'm gonna take my baby and run to the woods. Me and my baby, we're running to the woods. How long are we gonna live in the woods? Like, survive?
See, I love this about you, and I love having people in my circle that think like this, because it's logical, it's practical, and stuff like that.
Well, let me finish.
Go ahead.
So we are a tribesmen, people. We were a people that takes, it takes a colony to raise a child, whatever. So if we had a little colony, whatever, I would go to war if I had to, if that meant my daughter would be protected by the women's people at the village. Do I trust this village would fully protect her, raise her properly? Probably not. But if I had to, I would. And morality-wise, I'm prepared to take that cost if that means providing for my daughter. Period. That's what it is.
Okay. Shane, if you're still on here, tell me what you would do in the midst of possible deployment for like a big war, or, even in his scenario with a kid and stuff. Because it's easy for me to say what I would do. It's easy for you to say what you're not protecting nobody. You don't have a kid. But I'm just saying, it's really interesting to me to talk to somebody with such different viewpoints. Is good, because like for me, the first thing I would be doing is literally praying.
Yeah,
I know you struggle with that.
I definitely struggle with that.
I know you would struggle with that, but I'm just saying, like, we talked about that day, and I told you and Justin, I said, why do we live in a society that claims to, and not you, but we live in a society, a Christian-based country, that says that, but like, no, in any of these scenarios, no one considers God.
Yeah.
No one considers.
Yeah. Now, this is me. This is definitely me, because I agree 100%. I don't know. I gotta get my thoughts together.
He said because we are a godless society.
We are. We are very much a godless society, and the age of information, you could get to the root of all these gods that they built for us, all these ideologies and whatnot. You can go to the construction of them. That's very problematic when you talk in terms of like, who are the U.S. people willing to die for? Are we gonna die for Jesus? Are we gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
See, but why would you be willing to die? Here's the thing with American people, and even, tribal people and stuff, is like, you are basically admitting that you're making your country your God, because essentially you're fighting for an ideological thing for your country.
My fight is survival. I would be surviving for me and my daughter. I wouldn't be fighting for an ideology. To answer your question, Shane, I don't have a faith or practice. I grew up in a Catholic, my family's Mexican, so we were Catholic. And then I watched my dad get saved. I was like 10, so I grew up in the Christian church. And then in high school, I claimed Buddhism for a long time. And I was kind of like the meditation guy and like the new age, you know what I'm saying? Like that new age movement. I was on that for a little bit. But
Kundalini.
The Kundalini energy. I did all that research, like 10,000 hours, probably not. But I've definitely been, a philosopher for as long as I can. Like I've always said I can't just accept Christianity, but I guarantee that I have hit my knees with tears in my eyes more than the average Christian out here. Looking, searching. We talked 2 weeks ago. I'm driving 5:30 in the morning, crying. I do this too often, crying. God, where are you? Have you abandoned me? I felt alone my whole life. My whole life I've called to this man in the sky, this man in my chest, the temples within you, right? I've hit the books. No, not 10,000 hours, but I feel like I've done a good amount of research. I cannot hold on to one faith or one walk of life that they hand you. When they tell you to be a Christian, they are handing you the rules to your life, the projection of your life, your afterlife. Every minute decision you make will be affected by the fact that they gave you Christianity. I refuse to take a handheld ideology and run with it.
You gotta read it all out.
What are the odds that you think we can come to apocalyptic state while the time we are alive? What are the odds? 75%. I truly believe that we are at the end times. We might not see the true end, but I think we're at least at the beginning of the end. So I think if I don't see it, my daughter will. So, but when we talk about the apocalyptic time, like I've studied the book of Revelation, but I more so look at like the book of Enoch for the end times. And when we look at it, that's like an alternative Christian text or whatever, but
he said, I don't think you believe that, because if you did, you would sculpt your life different. What do you say to that?
I don't believe the apocalyptic thing.
Yeah, your number and like if we're really there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could agree with that, because like how much do you really see me crafting my life? But at the same time, I have this nihilistic view. What the fuck are we supposed to do? We're sitting in America. Our community literally thinks American soil would never be touched.
See,
in terms of confrontation. Like,
I love this about you. You asked that question. He's sitting here like, dude, if we are in that apocalyptic state, okay, why is the first thing you think about like actual tangible things? Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, we live in America, right?
Because we are a survivor. Our first job, like you have an ego, right? Your ego's first job is to survive. Keep pumping that heart, baby. So yeah, my first thing is how I'm gonna feed my daughter, how I'm gonna shelter my daughter. What is Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Literally, I'm starting from the bottom. Hell yeah. Hey, man.
I'm just saying. This is what I'll be trying to tell him, Shane. Do you believe? See, you might believe that we're in an apocalyptic state from a different point of view. I don't know if you believe we're in an apocalyptic state as in like this is God's doing.
Nah, I don't look at it like it's God's doing. I think that man has attempted to construct a civilization, and it was built very much so, especially in America, on a house of cards, and we are watching that crumble. You could say that's divine intervention, but I think that is a formula of a bad building of a country. Like, we literally built America on the backs of slaves, the genocide of Native Americans. Like, literally, we should crumble. When I literally, I have an identity crisis, because I'm like, the white man probably should burn in hell. Like, if we're being honest, like, if I'm being completely 100, hell yeah, we should fall. We should crumble. Am I accepted to just take that fate? No, I'm not. But, I mean,
So you don't believe?
I don't believe that this is God being like, it's time to get smited. No, I think we are naturally reaping what we sow. Naturally. This was
See, but how can you? Oh my!
Bound to
How
happen.
can you? So do you? One will for me. When you say that, I would respond and say, I don't think you believe in God. Then.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, my form of God is not the same as your form of God.
Okay,
for sure.
But if there was,
I don't think he's an external being. I don't believe in an objective God in the clouds or elsewhere God. If I'm considering a God, I would say that it is a collective God, and we try to build these individual personas of separation, and that fundamental belief is the beginning of our deception. We are deceived. We are God. I'm a leaf on the tree of God. Literally, I am. God is manifesting through me. I'm a vessel, right? That is my true belief. So I do not. Sometimes I do pray, but I'm literally met with silence. I've never had a snake talk to me. I've never had something smack me in my head like, bitch, you're missing the point. I've never experienced this directly. Okay. So I definitely struggle with the fact there's an objective God. Like I'll call, I'll search, I hit the books. But as of today, like I cannot say that I believe that Christ died for me. I cannot say that. I've read too many contradictory things. Like,
okay. So do you believe that God is net good, neutral?
Neutral.
Good and bad.
The concept of good and evil is perspectivity.
Okay. What do you think I don't want to go. I don't want to go down this path for real. Right. I just want to kind of get to a conclusion here.
Good luck.
I'm not trying to convince you. Allah, Christ, God. Allah is arm, leg, arm, head.
Arm, leg, arm, head.
That's what Allah is.
Arm, leg, arm. Okay.
It's God body.
You are the embodiment. You are the manifestation.
No, but this is a good in understanding his psyche. Yeah, for sure. So again, that alludes to Allah being God body, right? Christ, if you know anything about Christ, they got that from Christ conscious.
Yeah.
It's a title that you get from.
Yeah.
Now, the thing with you and your belief, he said he thinks God is neutral, not good or bad. Yes.
Yeah.
And in a sense, he's right. God is good and bad, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But
so the Old Testament God always got he's spiteful, he's judgmental, but that is a what? That is a projection because we are looking at good and evil from our own perspective.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Man fails to submit to the will of God. Okay, that's where this all stems from. And I think a lot of your issue is you refuse to submit to something higher than yourself. I think you say you believe it, but I don't think you really believe it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I
think you're like searching for the belief in it, but I don't think, because like Shane said, you would manifest it differently. You would kind of understand it differently. And I think a lot of it has to do again with that information thing that I started the top of the show with. I think you've consumed so much different information. You understand so many different faiths and different things that when you're talking to certain people, like I think you've had a lot of conversation in your past with people that say they believe God. Like I talked about the American people and stuff like that. So you have to talk about Jesus, and then you have to talk about the snake and stuff like that. But when you're talking to me, somebody that kind of understands God from a whole different element.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see what Shane's saying. A lot of understanding God is understanding he is a God of wrath. Christianity and worldly views make him God of peace and tranquility. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really like a Judaish look upon it. That's very like Old Testament
and
Torah.
And I'm willing to accept, and people have to be willing to accept that not only should you just not be adopted in one, you'll be a fool. But understanding wrath is understanding submission. Exactly. You'll be a fool to box yourself in when you're talking to God, to box yourself into one religion anyway.
Thanks.
You'll be a fool.
For sure.
God is, and this is a lot of, I see a lot of, and I would love to clarify this, and I can't wait to post this. I need to clip this part. I've seen for the last couple decades or decade or so, a lot of people talk about spirituality versus religion. Let me clarify for people out there. Spiritual, enter Kendrick on reincarnation and why that verse is crazy. Yeah. Questioning God. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy, bro. But spirituality versus religion. People need to understand the word religion. You know, re is a suffix. You know, re means to redo something, to revert something. Okay. And so I see a lot of people out there that have a conversation like, oh, you know, I don't believe in religion. It's man-made. Yeah, but like they think that they're like, you know, uncovering something that we don't know. Like, no, if you know the history of how this works, no, God, like religion was founded because man lost their way. So we know that religion is man-made. We understand that. Man lost their way. So people act like, oh yeah, I do spirituality. I don't need to go to church. I don't, my relationship with, yeah, that's all true. But you do understand that there's a good and evil to spirituality too, right? Like people just think that they say the word I'm spiritual. Like, okay, you know about the Elohim, and like there's evil. If you go into the spiritual realm, there's evil and bad too there. And man lost their way and fell. So yeah, we used to practice spirituality, but we fell. We fell. The fall of man was due to spirituality. At one point, we was one with God and we was into spirituality. There wasn't no religion back then because it was just oneness with God. That was spirituality. But we did the bad shit. Okay, that was spirituality. So religion means to revert back to God. That's what religion means. Revert. Because you went the wrong way, so revert. So I want to clarify that for a lot of people out there. I see it on Facebook all the time. I'm spiritual. I don't believe in religion. It's like, no, you don't even know what you're talking about. You could be spiritual and be evil as fuck. Yeah. Okay.
But they've made spirituality like an ideology.
Exactly. Y'all made that a religion.
They ruined it.
And y'all made it a religion to be lazy. So let's really talk about it. People just say that so no one can question them on anything that they do.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you ain't practicing shit.
It's like I had to deal with this. I know it's your kinfolk and whatnot, but my baby mother and her people very like, you know, tarot cards twice a day, you know, just like to the max. You know, we're really just pushing that. We're gonna be spiritual all the way. Crystals every day. Like I seen it and I was like, that really helped me. Like when I first seen them kicking it, I was like, oh shit, is this another belief system? Is this another, you know what I'm saying? Just another matrix form. And the answer is fuck yeah, it is. Every single man, like if you're gonna follow one thing, you said you be a fool to box yourself into one religion. You motherfucking right. But I don't know, man. Y'all are trying to tell me y'all got the truth. No. Y'all know that God is what do you say? God is he is a God of wrath. We know this for certain.
Yeah, because we know he's everything. Yes. We're not saying he's that one thing. We're just clear. We're just trying to show the many different sides of God, because in these religions that we're talking about, the reason why a lot of people have problems following God is because in each religion they're giving you not one, but maybe 4 versions of God. Like I'm saying, Lane, you have to have a wide enough perspective. I could take from Islam, I could take from Christianity, I could take from Judaism. Sure. They're all essentially saying the same thing. Yeah. And that same thing is submission to Allah, submission to God. So I'm saying with the whole spirituality thing is like, no, that lend us to not submitting to God's will. Now the question really needs to become for a lot of people is not whether you believe God or not. It's like, can we trust God as the entity if we know he's all of these things? Could God lead us astray? Could we be, God wants us in full submission, right? So God wants us in full submission to him. The question for people shouldn't be whether or not that exists, okay? The question should be, where does that lead us, and do we believe in that natural order of things? God wants us to operate like the fishes go watch a video of the fish in the sea. Watch a video of the birds in the sky and how they maneuver.
It's just
naturally, so perfectly.
It's a flow state.
Okay. But we have free will. And I know like the whole Christianity, like the watered down version of the teachings, I don't want to get into that. But I'm saying we have such a conscience that we were able to, the fish in the sea, the bird in the sky, they don't have a choice, but full submission to God's will.
I argue that this submission to God is instead a natural flow state of that being. You know, we talk about the fish in the sea. These fish are flowing naturally because we are uber conscious and we fucking think we're too important. We literally think we are the shit and we ain't. Okay, so part of my argument and part of why I think it'd be a contradiction for me to lay my head down and say that there is a God of wrath and to believe that is that basically what I believe in is self-improvement. So yes, there's potentially a God of wrath, but the fallen man is because we developed these egos. We used to be like the animals. We was like, the monkeys, whatever. We developed this ego, this mind, this consciousness, and now we're separated from God. Not submitted, but we are out of this flow state, right? The birds is just flowing naturally. We're out of the flow state, and I think we might just think we're too important. Instead of submitting, we might just need to get back to the basics, get back to the meditations, find that spot. Like basically they say enlightenment is the spot, that emptiness between two thoughts, right? That second, you can expand that second. That is the flow state, correct? That is enlightenment. That is God to me. That's the goal that's why I am so big into self-improvement. That's why the psyche is the number one thing on my agenda. I can't put religion first because I feel like that comes with developing your psyche. So ultimately, to say I'm an atheist, I don't know if I could say, but I'm definitely closer, probably, if you're going to slap a label on it.
I don't think so. I think, again, I think you're doing it again where I think you just hit the nail on the head on what you really believe. What everything you said was God consciousness. And then at the end, you think you're atheist. No, you're not atheist because you just said that your whole goal is to get to that point.
Well, it's just like a basic label. Like if you're going to slap a label, you can't call me Christian. You can't call me, but you know what I'm saying? Like, or religious of any sort. Like I can't claim to be Muslim.
I see what you're saying.
I carry a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like there's contradictory things that I do. I cannot claim a religion or an ideology like that. If you were going to slap one on me, atheist would probably be, or like scientific minded or something of that nature.
Agnostic. But no, I don't think it would be that. You could say you believe in God and not believe in any other foundational religions. You believe in a God consciousness.
Yeah. I mean, but I think it's something internal. But
that don't matter. Like no, that doesn't matter because I'm saying as long as you come to the conclusion you believe in the God conscious or whatever you said it was, whatever you believe your idea of God is,
enlightenment, flow state.
Did you say that was God?
Being, yeah.
Then you believe in God. You don't have to then.
But it's not a separate entity. We're always saying we got to bow down to God.
No.
You said this.
No, listen. I'm telling you, once you made that admission, don't then change your brain back to the world's idea of God. You believe in God. Whatever that is, you believe in God. Okay. Don't then give me like your version of what Christians believe and then what Muslims believe or what I believe. No, that don't matter. You believe in God. You already said God is in you. So you believe in God. Okay. It's that simple. Whatever your worship and practice is, that's a whole different conversation.
If I just say on this platform, I believe in God, not one person would understand that unless I explained it in these terms.
Say that again.
If I was to just say, I believe in God, but I don't follow any mainstream religion. I don't do this, this, and this. Not one person on this podcast would be like, I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, the person.
Shane, you and Shane, sure, but we've had a whole discussion now.
No, I'm saying so. The correct terminology would be: I believe in God, my idea of God. I don't necessarily identify with any. Exactly, religion is a tricky word. I don't identify with any of the religions necessarily. I think there's truths in some of them. I don't necessarily identify with all of any of them. That would be
because I found truths in a lot of them.
Because there's God consciousness in there. I mean, I don't think any of us can. I'm not gonna say. I can't say no one denies God consciousness, but I think the Kundalini, Christ consciousness, God body, all that stuff is all meditation, the flow state. That is all a snapshot of God. It's all the same thing. We know that there's a plane higher than what we exist on, which means we know that there's a superior thing out there.
Right.
Okay. Once the practice, once you believe that, you believe in a God. I can't say what God you believe in. I can't, that ain't for me. You believe in a God. The God just means it's a superior force of nature out there. Well, if you believe in meditation, if you've done DMT and you believe in a God, you believe in God. You believe in something that ain't in this realm that we're on.
Yeah. Because I definitely think we are bound by our five senses. Like, I don't think we were given these five senses and that's the world.
No, there's so many more senses.
Yeah. I definitely think we're limited. And I'm probably, like I said earlier, I'm probably closed off to, if there is a physical God, I'm probably closed off to him. And, I like to say I'm a searcher and I'd be open-minded to it. Is that a deception? Am I deceiving myself?
See, but the God body is a little bit different. The God body, because you're saying, do you believe in it? You said a physical?
Yeah, I don't believe in a physical entity.
See, but God, you said earlier that he was manifesting himself through you and you were a vessel. That's God, though.
Right now, right here. That's why they say, you are God. Peace, God.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that. We are God. We literally, when I go and create nothingness, I'm drawing on a chalkboard and erasing it, never showing it to the world. That is God creating. But I don't think that God sent me a video download to then create. I think it's all one. I think it's all one entity. I'm not sure that we are divided at all. Non-duality is the official term. You can look it up if you want. But
collective consciousness.
Yeah, I believe we are all a collective consciousness. We're severely deceived. We have no psychological evolution. Well, we have a little bit, but I think we're just completely domesticated in this fraudulent, civilization. And we're just limited by our very limited knowledge, but we think we have all the answers. We think we're the most important entity or being or group of people on the world. That's why we're so selfish. That's why we destroy the world.
No, that's interesting. Shane said, so then you don't believe prophets existed. Or exist. I don't think that necessarily.
I'm not gonna say that because I feel like this is probably gonna sound crazy as fuck, but like in a weird way, I believe I'm a prophet because I believe it's my obligation. I call it my savior's complex. It's my obligation to help people evolve. So as I build InventiveVitality, my end goal is to help people evolve on that psychological chain. So if we're getting specific prophets, I have issues with some, but overall, I don't think I can agree with that fully. I have a lot of contradictions in this pod, I'm sure, but I don't think I can agree with that.
You can't agree with what part?
I think prophets existed. I think we're all a form of a prophet. How far are you willing to push it?
He said, I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't believe all false prophets were doing bad maliciously, meaning you can think you are and aren't. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
I mean, the whole concept of good and evil is perspectival.
Yeah, I do agree.
Everybody thinks they're doing right.
Now, I do want to say there's a difference between, now to your point, like a prophet, just so we're clear, there's a difference between a prophet, a messenger. There's a, I'm blanking now, but there's other titles that carry too.
I'm not familiar, so I can't.
So like, see, a prophet is given like prophecy from God, and their job is to tell the people what's to come. That's a prophet.
That might not fit my bill.
See, yeah. So when you were saying that you believe you're a prophet, I just wanted to make sure I clarified to you. I don't think that you even think that you're a prophet, because I don't think you said you.
It's a figure of sort, though.
You probably think that you might just be. There's other titles that I'm blanking on it, and you could fit the description.
I just feel like I'm here to be the example. I feel like I'm still growing. I'm not that example yet, but I feel like
you said, what do you think Kendrick was saying when he says, "I'm a prophet, bitch"? I answered to Metatron and Gabriel. Man, that's when I knew. Like, do you think those are just words, or does he mean that? Moment of truth now, like.
I don't know. He might just be saying that shit. But who is Metatron? Is that like
archangels?
That's the archangels.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Gabriel. See, Kendrick's an interesting case because he went. He was almost like a super Christian rapper for a little bit, and then he went kind of like the New Age movement, and then he's kind of stripped it all back, but he still throws God.
He's a Gemini.
He's Gemini as hell.
He talking about the 5%ers on Meet the Graham. He talked about.
And I'm a true Kendrick stan. Like how you're a Hov stan, I'm a Kendrick stan. So I'm like, yeah, Kendrick's words bond, baby. Like that shit, he talking to the angels every day. I want to say that. But my true intuition is that these are words and that these are like almost like he's trying to. I think he's a very intuitive person. I think he's on a next level in a lot of ways. I think that's just like a way for him to tell us, like, hey, bro, I'm locked in. Like this information I spit is not just some bullshit. This is real shit to contemplate. This is real information. So to answer the question directly, no.
But locked in on what?
Locked in on.
I think Shane is alluding to. Do you think Kendrick? Do you think it's one of three things? You think he's tapped into the archangels, he's tapped in to being misled, or he's not tapped in at all and he's just saying words? Shane's essentially asking that.
I would say it's the third one, but it's not exactly that. He's not just saying words. I think he's dumbing it down in a way that we can understand it. If he's over here just saying, I talk to God and I'll do this, this, and this, motherfuckers ain't trying to hear that. They ain't trying to believe that. But if he's like, he's giving us two examples, I talk to Metatron, and he's just like, I don't know. I would say, I don't think he's deceived because he's like deeply contemplative and he's moral. I think so much of our civilization is not moral.
He said, I think that's way too specific to be dumbed down. Go ahead, because I got a lot on this topic, but godly.
I don't know what that last. What you mean by that?
To say those names, like that line is like so specific.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, y'all might be right. It might be tapped in. I've never experienced a verbal angel or felt like I've gotten information from an external situation.
A couple things with Dot.
Be out the loop.
Shane, did you tell me your opinion first before you set me up to look like a dick sucker? You tell me your opinion first on what you think.
Wait, I want to know, is Shane religious? Are you like, where do you lie in this? What's your ideology? Where do you take your beliefs from? They should have the little bubbles.
No, I can't believe we would just sit here and think we're supposed to wait. That's crazy. Well, while Shane is typing, I'm sure he's typing out a lot. So consistent theme with Dot has been we're coming to a culmination of, like you said, Dot really is a Christian rapper guised as a secular rapper to fit in. I think Kendrick's been making Christian music.
But do you think he's a real Christian? Do you think he's actually locked in with that way of life?
I think Kendrick has tapped into a realm that. Are you asking me his intentions or what I think is actually happening with him, with what he's doing?
At his core belief, is he a Christian? Do you believe he is a Christian? You're saying he's a Christian rapper disguised as...
No, at his core, but it's so hard for me to answer these questions. Are you asking me...
Is he a Christian?
No.
Okay.
But that's my interpretation. Now, are you asking me, do I think he believes he's a Christian? Is that what you're asking me?
I'm asking, do you think he's a Christian? You said no.
No.
And I agree.
No.
I think he went through the evolution of man. I think he very much was, especially.
I don't think he was, but that's what I'm saying. This is where it becomes a problem. I don't think he was never a Christian because what a Christian is not what Kendrick is.
Right. He's developed though. He's evolved through the phases. Christianity was very much needed. For I don't think
a black person that's really tapped into that realm could ever by technicality. This is me you're talking. I don't think Christian is the right word. I think Christian is I don't think that I have my own.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
I hear you, but I mean, this man was biblical.
But quotes. see that's what he was. That's what I'm saying. And this is me talking. I'm just saying my opinion. The Bible was hijacked, or Christianity was based around the Bible.
Yeah. And
given to us.
Yeah.
I think people get that. People associate the Bible with Christianity, but the Bible is way before Christianity.
Right.
And I think Kendrick was tapped into the Bible. He thought he was a Christian because that's how we were raised. I mean, he thought that that's what he was into when he was spiritually grounded into all these things.
And he evolved past it.
But I'm saying that's never, by technicality in my brain, he was never even a Christian. You see what I'm saying?
I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. I feel like Miss Duckworth probably did raise him Christian. She might still be a Christian.
You're not getting what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm not.
I'm saying
maybe I'm not.
What he was practicing is not Christianity. He thinks I'm. That's why I was trying to clarify. Are you asking me what is he confused? Yeah, he probably thought he was a Christian. I'm saying by definition, he was never a Christian. A Christian is a slave religion. He was never that. My core beliefs are rooted in Christianity, but that's because I was raised in the church and Bible. But unknowingly to my family, mom, everyone I've had my very Muslim uncle father in my ear. My father figure. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We could talk about that.
Yep. That's true. But with Dot, the running theme has been the same thing in all his albums. And we're coming to a conclusion with him. And so to Shane's point earlier, I don't think he just be saying words because you just go back through these tapes and you listen to what he's saying and his overarching themes in these and what he's saying, the grand point of what he's saying. Yeah, he doesn't just say things. And I think he's come to that conclusion in the last 3 albums.
Yeah.
I think before he was, listen to Good Kid, Mad City and really think about the prayers and that story, the praying woman that he runs into and getting saved and the baptized and the red and blue pit, all of that story, that's a biblical matrix. That's a biblical story. Okay. Then think of To Pimp a Butterfly on Mortimer. He's talking about spirits talking to him and Tupac's ghosts talking to him at night and shit like that. And then you get Damn, where he was confused because it was me versus the world. He was confused. And then he goes in this whole tirade about him versus him. And then you look at Mr. Morale, and we know he was tapping into Mr. Morale on Rich Spirit. He was shadow doing fucking.
It was shadow work. Very much so.
Median shit. Spirit median shit. Okay? And then on the same album on I Deserve It All. Every time I close my God whispers to me every time he keeps alluding to this in every album that anytime his ancestors come to him in the sleep. It's not like he said it one time. Every album, it's like somebody's coming to me in my sleep.
Yeah.
That's a real grounded spiritual, like, and that ain't like something you just saying. It's like, dog, this nigga might be getting visited.
I think he might be another reason why I've always craved the visiting or the presence, the relationship with God, yeah, like I said earlier, I've always felt alone. And they say, you know, your God is always with you. I've never like felt reaffirmed by that or anything. So I think I've kind of craved it because, like you said, Kendrick's talked about this forever. I mean, you look at fucking Section 80. He was talking about it then.
I know.
I can't speak. I'm not sure if he was on.
And it just bothers me because of his conclusion. Because, you know, before I knew anything about Kendrick, before we was getting to the conclusion, like, wait, before Mr. Morale really freaked me out because my experiences.
Yeah.
You know, so when you hear somebody else out there that is like reaffirms some of your shit, it's really not a good feeling for me. I'm just be honest. It's just not a good feeling. It is in a way, but it's also like you don't want it to be true sometimes. And like I have experiences with I think you are cheating yourself of Kendrick's music or the Kendrick experience if you think he's just saying words. I agree.
Yeah, I can't say I fully believe that. I just think he's saying words. I think that distinct line.
You're right. I see what you're saying.
But I truly hold Kendrick's words as like
he meditates.
I was waiting for Drake's daughter to appear. Like literally, I'm like, where's she at?
I said on my last episode,
yeah, I'm still not determined that that's fake necessarily.
I'm not believing none of that shit.
Like I definitely like.
He said reincarnation don't even hit the same if you think he was just talking. Exactly. He was Tupac. I know. And it really terrifies me that he's doing that and others. Yeah. I think of the Heart Part 5 all the time. I can never get the Heart Part 5 out of my mind. How much a dollar costs. I can never get that out of my mind. Exactly, Shane. Those stories, it's like they hit their Mortal Man. Listen to the end of Mortal Man. Like that conversation between him and Pac is very fucking chilling. Not the dopeness of how he doctored it up, but listen to the conversation and what Pac is, the game that Pac is kicking Kendrick. And it's all about spirit. It's all about like spirits and ancestry, like coming to you and talk. He's like, I don't. Sometimes I get on the mic and I don't even know what the fuck I'm about to kick. And then Pac is like, because it's not even you, it's your dead homie speaking through you. Like that's the same thing.
It's the vessel.
But like we say that, but we don't put tangible. Like that's scary. That's scary. And then like there are staples that hit different when you are under the belief that he is almost omniscient. Yeah. Also, it makes me think of we love the video of Kendrick. It's my favorite Kendrick video ever of him performing at SNL, the I performance. Because I won't ever stop watching that video because I seen a man go into the flow state, like, and if you know me, that's the reason why. I mean, it's the reason why I fucked with Kendrick, but it was the number one reason why I fucked with Kobe, because I grew up and I was watching this man, and I'm seeing him perform, but I'm also seeing him do shit that like the common people, like people are missing what the fuck this guy's doing. I'm like, bruh, are y'all watching this guy? Like he's blacking out. And anytime I see somebody, it gets scary when I see somebody be able to go to that spot on demand. Because I told you, I've had games at the YMCA where like I was a kid and I went to this flow state and I came out of it and they like my family and everybody ran up on the court and I don't really remember. And they said I kept hitting this same shot over and over and over at the free throw line. Then me and your experience, really, that freaked me out this year. And some of the shit you was telling me I was doing in the sand and shit like that. Like that, when I put it all together, it makes me freak out because it's like there's no feeling like something taking over. Like when you come back from something and you're back into your regular consciousness and you don't recollect time, and someone tells you was moving and doing stuff, but you can't recollect it. That's scary. Because that's like it's like something took over your fucking body.
Yeah, out of body experience for you.
And to watch Kendrick do that throughout his career, like it was one thing when he did the eye performance. It was just like, okay, that was dope as fuck. I think that was dope as fuck. But then when I put all these stories together and see that it's a central thing, he keeps saying it and keeps doing it. It's like, all right, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I say that staple really hit me on 616 when he just starts. He's like contemplating beef, like, oh my god. So I definitely like. I gotta walk back on those words that I guess I just can't speak on the Gabriel and the what is the other one called, the
Metatron.
I gotta look into the Metatron. I never heard that. But
Metatron's all like about the flower of life and the energy fields and the cubes. You know, Metatron is like that archangel. Very interesting.
He teaches that one in Catholic Central, man.
And you know, if you guys remember when Kendrick was rolling out PG Lane back in 2020, when he did those little small commercials with Baby Kim, and he was laying on the lamppost up in the air, and it was silent, and then he had the clip of now. It said now, the future, and present, now, future, and he was laying there, and just all that weird omni shit that Terrence Howard talked about it a little, and I don't think he knew, or maybe he did. Yeah, when he was talking about the flow state. It's a very weird thing that we just kind of accept because we've all been there in different ways. I know you play sports or you've gotten to a fight. Everybody typically has had it. Have you had it? I'm sure you've had a flow state experience. Everybody has had it. We've all had that moment when we're driving in the car and then you look up and you got home or something, or you're at the red line. You're like, whoa.
I think that's different. I think that's a little different.
No, that's flow state. That's flow state. It's a different. I understand it's different categories, but that's when you disconnect from your inner body. It's all the same thing. Now the levels
about like disassociation.
It's
you're
all
getting cussed out, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? You go somewhere else. I mean,
it's all the same thing, is what I'm saying. It's all the same field. Now, flow state would be an activity that you're like. It's when your natural practices and your natural stuff just kicks in. That's why it's called flow state, because you're not thinking no more.
Yeah, I view it as like peak performance. Like that's like optimum. That's the
because you're not thinking no more, and you eliminate fear, you eliminate doubt, you eliminate everything because you're just flowing. You're just in the state. You just you're gone. But I'm saying the fact of that ability, that thing happened, disassociation and flow state, it's all the same thing. It's the fact of the matter is you left you're gone. You're not there. That I'm saying the fact that is a common thing is kind of crazy. It's really, really crazy. Also,
it ain't common enough though. It really ain't.
Exactly. But they don't teach us that. And also, you know, if you want to get into that, there's a lot that goes into it. We talk about fluoride in the water, fluoride in the toothpaste, our food that we eat. Everything that goes, we've always had those psychic abilities, but it's been limited to us because of not submission to God. I can't believe we circled back to that. But you know, whatever you believe the God is, it's the God body, whatever. But if we were natural and in full submission to the creation and how we're supposed to be, like the fish in the sea, we would have those abilities. We are the ultimate being. We're the being. If we submit to God, we are the being that Elon is trying to turn us in with Neuralink. We already all that. We've already traveled the cosmos. We are the cosmos. We have angel dust in us. We have stardust in us. We're made up of the stars. We've already been here. We've been here for trillions of years. But we're not in submission to God. So we're in a falling state, and we always forget that we're in a fallen state. We're in such a fallen state that we forget who we actually are. We are the gods. We're just in a fallen state, so we don't remember. But the Kendrick conversation continues to make me awkward lately because I'm just at a loss for words. Watching him do what he's doing. And then you mentioned the 616 in LA thing. Still think that's the craziest moment. Reincarnation got to be the craziest moment, though, so far this year. I have to say, Reincarnation blew my fucking top. But 616 is a close second, guys. 616 is absolutely kind of bonkers. That
shit fucked me
that
up.
middle portion
Yeah.
is, he ain't here. He's not here at all. We start talking about, oh my goodness, man.
Man, are we getting that tape tomorrow?
Huh?
Are we getting it tomorrow?
Oh, the tape.
The deluxe.
It's coming. There's something coming. There's something coming. There's a second part of Gene. I'm wondering if it's, he might be waiting. Here's the thing, guys. The GNX. Here's the breaking news. So we know the 2-car theory. He had the 2 cars, the 2 GNXs in the little trailer right before the album with the tiramisus.
Yep.
But he talks about his evil twin powering up. I think he gave us the evil twin album already. I think this version of the GNX is the evil. He's dissing all throughout this. I think actually the other side, and remember he talked about destroying and rebuild on Watch the Party Die. On Luther, the SZA song, If This World Were Mine, and it's all about rebuilding, and after you destroy it, that's what that song's essentially about. So I'm thinking this next album is actually going to be more like I'm not going to say preachy, but more like the after, as if like the character, as if like he's destroyed everything already, and then the rebuild part. So I'm curious to see what kind of songs will be in there, if it's a lot of positivity, and people are gonna kill him. And I suspect this is what's gonna happen, is that the next project is gonna be so polar opposite from this GNX that we got, and y'all know how casual listeners, they're gonna be so confused. Yeah. Everybody's gonna say he's such a hypocrite. He's not understanding the art and what he's doing. That's my prediction. That's what's gonna happen.
All right, one more prediction. What's he got for Schultz? Is he addressing it? Is he not? I just feel like I just dislike that man.
I don't like him. I don't like him at all. But here's the thing. I'll let you go first.
I feel like he's probably not going to address him, but I would love for him to somehow, in his own way, he always has these crafty little ways of just fucking somebody up. That I just feel like this man is just bugging out here. And Charlemagne, too. I mean, I feel like Charlemagne almost got to get the worst of it, because he gave this man a pass and just gave him the platform to really just spew. And, like,
I think with the Schultz thing, the most important line to remember on this album, Shane, it's your favorite line, I think. The last one figured he was Magneto. You play God, you're going to get what you asked for. I think Kendrick, if he's tapped into what we're talking about, guys, if he's tapped into what we're talking about, it's already sealed. It's already done. Anybody that comes against Kendrick's field in the movement, he don't got to say it. It's spiritual warfare now, guys, going on. If we're saying Kendrick is tapped into what he's tapped into, you got to understand Metatron and Gabrielle and how this moves. It's like,
it's definitely beyond that shit, huh?
Yeah, like Andrew Schultz is gonna have it coming to him. Kendrick ain't got to do nothing,
because that shit is literally nothing. Like, there's nothing productive you could say about Andrew Schultz. But the disrespect coming out of Andrew Schultz's mouth is fucking ignorant. When it comes to black women, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, when it comes to, the culture, hip hop, all of it.
They asked Schoolboy Q today what he felt. Y'all go look at what he said. Me jumping planets, I correspond 3 angels watching me all the time.
That's crazy.
Put my children to sleep and close my eyes. Definition of peace is crazy. Tell me who gonna stop me. I come from love and still cover my heart, then open me up. Remember when picked up a picked up a pen, lyrics that I could trust. Timid soul staring at the mirror, looking, asking where I was from often. I know this type of power is gonna cost me, but I live in fuck, what did he say? Oh my God. I live in
circadian rhythm.
So I live in circadian rhythms of a shooting star. Yeah. The mannerisms of Raphael, I can heal and give you art, but the industry's cooked as I pick the carcass apart. That being a prayer, guys, it's fucking insane.
That's nasty. That's nasty work.
I know that this type of power is going to cost, but I live in circadian rhythms of a shooting star. Is in fucking insane. I still said that's the line of the year. Like, that is insane sickness to me. That is so insane, bro. Ugh, it makes me sick and it makes me worry because his words carry so much weight. It's like, what do you mean jumping? That don't even mean shit if it's just words. That being a prayer is scary. I know. I know. I know, man. I wouldn't be fooling with anybody that's into that kind of shit. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because people be thinking I'll be joking when I'll be saying I'll be telling people exactly like that shit. People be saying, God don't play about me. I say it all the time, and I'm like, watch that commentary. Hey, I'm blank. I'm covered. You know, when you unlock certain doors and shit like that, good and bad forces be around you. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be very, very careful and watch what you say. Me, Shane, I think you joke about it, but we in our group chat, we joke about it every single day about how the simulation seems more and more real. Well, what that really is that we're in a spiritual warfare. The new earth is upon us. Like, we're in that frequency. The new earth, we've elevated up into the spiritual realm. And we don't know it because it ain't like the earth actually lifts up, but we're there, the frequency, the vibes. So when we say stuff and people have spiritual backing, when they say stuff, it manifests itself really, really quick today. And so it be seeming like shit is so simulated now. It be seeming like you say something or you think. Last week I was thinking about my mom and she called me. Earlier, I woke up at 1:54 last night and I texted our group chat a couple hours. I'm like, I can't sleep. I was watching the video and they was talking about Tupac. It was a random clip and it was Tupac. And on the same podcast, they mentioned Tupac at the same fucking time. And I'm just like, really? I'm like, really? It's always shit like that with me. I wake up and it'd be like 2:22. You know what I'm saying? Just those like spiritual, that kind of shit. I'm like, come on, man. And I say that to say Kendrick is into all that. I talk about the occultism and that kind of shit. So Andrew Schultz is the one that has to right the wrong. Kendrick don't have to say anything. Kendrick won't say anything. It's already.
I just want him
to. It's already ordered. It's already ordered, bro. It's already ordered. It's already. You could book that. It's already ordered.
Yeah. I just feel like them fucking Jews. They've been getting away with a lot of shit for a long time. It's just another example. Just another example of a white Jew spewing.
Nah, he's not really a Jew. But he'll have to pay for it. Don't worry. Just be mindful and look out for the payback. Andrew Schultz will pay for that, big time.
Got to, right?
Mm-hmm. He'll pay for it.
That was wild claims. I mean, that was some crazy shit he was saying.
Yep. Shane said he's toast. He's toast. I'm telling you. I already know. It's just toast. When you're dealing with somebody that's into all that kind of shit. All right. We talk about, people wonder why we talk about the propheticness of Pac or the power of the tongue and how he either attracted that death. Well, how y'all think that happened? And we might not publicly see he's toast. That's the thing. Oh, I'll be knowing. See, my eye be seeing that. I tell mad people when they screw me over. That's why y'all don't be seeing me tripping when people do dumb shit. I'm not worried about them or that. And I may not see it publicly, but I know that they're fucked up. I know you're fucked up. I already know you're fucked up. And you're going to be fucked up. So, Andrew Schultz, good luck. That's all I got to say. Good luck. We really didn't cover much of anything we were supposed to talk about. We wanted to talk about, the cover is a barbecue, and we didn't even You want to say some closing things on just alert the people on what's going on over in Haiti?
Yeah, so the last week, so Barbecue, he's the notorious gang leader in Haiti, right? He's like the semi-president. He's got a massive gang following. The last couple days, there's been like 170 some murders, and it's because Barbecue is claiming his son died recently, this week or last week maybe. Barbecue is claiming that his son died because of voodoo. Somebody put a voodoo spell or something on his son, killed him, and now he has been raining terror.
They put a voodoo spell on Kendrick too, guys.
Who?
Drake and them. They was doing the voodoo dolls. It was a few months ago. Just throwing it out there to break it up in the ethos. They did a little voodoo doll on Kendrick.
What'd he say? My blick got me. Then God got me. It'll be all right. Anyway, yeah, so Barbecue been killing hella people. They don't even have the technology to put that shit on the news or social media or anything. Like, Haiti is literally like, they're probably not the lowest form of civilization right now in the world, but they're really close, and we ain't doing nothing about it. And the fact that Kenya is the only country in Haiti currently like leading the peace cruise or whatever is just super alarming to me, because like Kenya is not like overly underdeveloped, but this shit is right under America's chin. You know what I'm saying? Like, we spit and we hit in Haiti. If Russia comes over and helps Haiti get out of this shit and they put missiles on Haiti, we're going to be worried about Haiti then. But, like, we didn't have that shit happen.
So what do you think's going on?
What I think's going on? I think they're going to let Haiti just fall apart, neglect that shit totally. And, we're just going to keep saying we should send our Haitians in America back to that war, basically. That little ass island of a war. I don't know what I think's going on. Devilry.
My poor. No, I'm not gonna say poor.
Riches in spirit.
Yeah. So, were you here on here yesterday when I talked about Assad and Syria?
I heard some of it. I didn't hear all of it.
Do you remember anything that I was saying, like my overall sentiment and what I was saying, what's going on?
I can't say I do.
Okay. You know a little bit about Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
To them and their people. Did this in the same thing to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's similarities. I can't draw direct correlations. I feel like this whole thing in the Middle East with Syria directly, I can't draw direct correlations now.
What were you getting ready to ask?
Is
Syria.
I was just saying, like, with Syria directly, because I mean, there's so much going on over there. Like, they'll have a fucking peace treaty with one country, but then they're gonna go into Lebanon and bomb the fuck out of them. So it's like, I don't really know what's going on. I think they're trying to create Israel state permanently. They might give the Palestinians a little corner of something if they're there still. We're not sure how deep the cleansing will go. But I mean, it's just all power. And we're going to continue to back Israel because they're our little, our hand in the field over there. And even if we, do it's not communism what Donald Trump wants to do, but, separatists, be a separate country from everybody, we will still very much fund Israel and run through them. So I think it's a power play. I mean, we're just seeing, but I
do you see a world where so these countries think in 10, 15, and 20-year plans, guys?
All of them?
Mm-hmm.
You think Haiti can do that?
Mm-hmm. That's typical. It's usually sometimes it's 20, 25 years.
I mean, they don't even have a sitting president anymore.
But this is where
who's thinking 10 years ahead?
This is where
deep state.
Exactly.
I'm just piecing it together. I'm gonna ask my question.
But this is where we continue to clash heads, because you have a conclusion on about what's ultimately going on, but you don't consider it when you read any new, like when you read new information. What did we say at the top of the show that's ultimately going on? What was happening? What was crumbling?
The world, America, U.S. dollar.
Okay. So are you considering that in this equation of the Haiti?
Yeah, with Haiti, not so much. With the Middle East, yeah, because I think we're just trying to hold on.
What do you think the deal is with the immigration influx?
I think that was like a Kamala or like that side. I think they were really trying to just stir up a lot of problems. I mean, divide, resources will be extra limited. You know, they could try to say that they're helping the Haitians, but they're really not, because the people that are in Haiti are just neglected. So I would say that they might have been trying to get votes. You know, there was a rumor that they were trying to get votes from the immigrants.
If it's crumbling, if the dollar is falling, and you've already concluded that Israel and them are in cahoots, right? And Israel's marching in on territory, right? You think that we wouldn't know that when Israel made its move, it would trigger a greater, wider war?
We knew that.
Okay, so if we knew that, wouldn't we start to prepare for the greater, wider war?
Probably.
If we start to prepare for the greater, wider war, wouldn't we start to look at our troops and our numbers, and would we potentially start to fuck with shit in Haiti and overthrow their sitting president and assassinate him to cause an uprisal in Haiti so that people fled here and we could use them in war?
Maybe. I mean, we've definitely isolated ourselves from the Haitians. You think the Haitians want to fight for us?
I think that there's a long history of this happening, and they wouldn't have a choice. Okay. Blacks died in every war first. And a lot of them migrants. Guys got to remember, we were actually, before we were in the United States, we fought in the American Revolutionary War when we was part of the Britain colony and stuff like that. We fought on behalf of that colony.
Both sides, right?
Yeah. So,
man, so that if this is the end and it's biblical, the white man got to get his.
how'd your brain go there?
Because we, like, continuously, the black man has been stepped on, has been taken advantage of, has been.
Jane said, "Oh, we in war." Okay, go ahead.
We've been in war. We've been in war. But I just feel like if this is biblical, karma is real, divine, you know, good and evil, whatever. The white man has taken advantage of the whole fucking world. He got to get his.
For sure.
He has to get
his. You know.
And motherfuckers think I'm so crazy for saying that. My whole life, I've always felt this. I've always felt this, man. I'm telling you that. I got family members that literally just, they look at me like, what is wrong with it? Because I can't.
They call it white. It's a new thing. It's called white guilt, and they're like shaming it. Like white people, you know, for the 5-10 years ago, everybody was falling in for it. Like all white people just had to be silent and let it rock. But now that Donald Trump's back in, they're saying fuck white guilt. We're not guilty. Fuck the Indians.
Yeah, and that's like that old school mentality. That was like such a fear. Like I could see some of the good aspects that Trump wanted, but like that old school look on race, that old school look on women's rights, that old school look on economics and work ethic and technology. Technology probably won't be too old school with Elon in there, but there's just so many, like that old white man's mentality has to die. It has to be gone. And it's going to take probably, 2 or 3 more generations for racism to really die. Like we really trying to evolve past this shit. That's what I'm about. Evolution, right? That's going to be a major step. We have got to quit worrying about our skin color. We have to. And I think that I don't think Kamala would have helped that case because I don't think she was really down. But Trump's not going to help us in that area at all.
Okay. So can we tie this back into now, like the Haiti thing? Okay. Guys, we're saying we're all at war. We're saying we're all at world war. So when you see what's going on in Syria, when you see what's going on in North Korea, South Korea, Cuba, Haiti, Mexico, China, Russia, Iran, Israel, the Middle East, France, we have to take that we're already saying we're in war in consideration. Okay. So you're going to see nations rise against nations like the Bible prophesies, armies surrounding Israel like the Bible prophesied. But besides biblical prophecy, my point is, down in Haiti, we're just seeing the same old. I don't know, Lane, how you're not like it's the same old thing that they do.
I'm just like very not okay with that.
That ain't the point. That ain't the point. The point is, I want you to be able to see shit when it's happening, so you're not confused. Okay, same old fucking trick that they just did in Syria, they're doing in Haiti. Right. So we were talking about the Haiti thing, and I was trying to get you to understand that barbecue, the cover, he's that.
He's a plant.
Yes. Okay. They that's how they overthrow governments. That's how Assad just fled to fucking Russia. Mm-hmm. He was the dictator in Syria, just like Muammar Gaddafi, dictator. Saddam Hussein, weapons of mass destruction, killing his people, dictator. Okay. They overthrow their governments by, we interfere with their elections. We're not in it, but we like put CIA agents over there. We literally put people over there to disturb the government and make it chaotic. It gets overthrown, and then we march in on that territory or get their resources. It's the same old fucking trick that they've been doing for every country. I don't know how people don't see it. So Haiti's president gets assassinated. What was that, a few years ago? That was the U.S. and the deep state back. I mean, that it's not a Haitian revolution. That people aren't uprising against. Yeah, they're uprising against their ruler, but essentially, guys, in these cases, their rulers are trying to keep America, the U.S. and its proxies out of their politics. Mm-hmm. And when they don't agree with that, the U.S. then goes to work on that country and overthrowing that country. That's what happens. Now, again, for them to do it legally, they can't just go over there. We have to understand the rule of the law of war and stuff like that. They got to do it tricky in front of the international courts, or else we'll be charged with all types of crimes. So what does America do? We just send CIA agents and assets and money and stuff like that and pay for things to look like what's going on, and then feed our country propaganda. There was a country, I think, over in Iraq, or one of the countries in the Middle East, has said that they are so sick of America. If you look it up, the like most unwealthiest or poorest country in the nation, like America has it listed as like Iraqers. I can't remember, but and forgive me, but they're like, we're doing fine, but it's like the propaganda that they do. And then it works on the world stage because we're the most powerful. So Russia, everybody believes it. Like, oh yeah, they're broke. We believe, everybody believes it. And then they're able to convince the surrounding nations that this was a failed state, that this place was failed and they were struggling. So we got to go over there and give them democracy. We got to help because we're the policemen of the world. So like, look, we have to intervene with their affairs because guys, like, they're fucking killing their people and they're starving. Like they're dying without us. And then they go over there and take their territory or their resources and their oil. That's what happens. And that's what's happening in Haiti. So never, ever forget that, guys. We have our conclusion. So with our conclusion, we have to understand all the tricks of the trade that they're doing. They see their end in sight. They see their demise near. So they're gathering people from surrounding South America nations, immigrants. They're bolstering up, guys. War. We are in war. Okay? So go get you a fucking, let them in. See, but we just get confused because Trump is anti that, but we have to remember he's anti-war. So he's not even with their whole agenda. You got to understand that these agendas are, like I said, 20, 15, 10-year plans. This whole CIA, this whole Israel thing, that's been a 50, 60-year operation. That's why I'm able to come to my channel and tell you guys that Iran was I was saying it when the war first started, that I wasn't confused and I wasn't tricked. Israel was doing the greater Israel expansion. That's why I knew that, because I've already read the list that they already put. I know about it. You know, it's an open thing that our CIA has given to the president since Reagan and stuff. They started with Iraq. There was all these nations, and Iran was the last on the list, and they got 6 of the 7 nations. Iran's the last on the nation. So when you know that, you see what's going on, and you're like, I can see what's going on. You know, I can see what they're doing because I got the information here, and they're actually doing shit in tricky ways, but I see through their fucking tricks. Don't fall for the propaganda, guys. Don't fall for the propaganda. Israel marching in on extra territory triggered this great war that we're in, because they had their agenda since before the inception of 1948, by the way, guys, because we always forget that these people that we're talking about were casted out of over 100 countries. So you think that during that period that they're casted out of 100 countries, they're not thinking about a place that they can go and call their own? Of course they are. So we get World War II, man, and then they get their own. And you think that they wanted to stop there? No, let's use our project, our baby. We really created America when we didn't have nowhere to go. Remember, these people that I'm talking about, they are the architects of the transatlantic slave trade. Okay? The original 13 colonies, it was these people that I'm talking about. They had a Zionist movement back then. Okay? America was created and funded. America, I call Rihanna a shell corporation for Rock Nation. America is a shell corporation for Israel, guys. America was Israel when they were traveling, trying to find homes, and they had all this power and money and control. They created America so they can expand later. That's just the truth. So we'll close on that, man.
Oh, no, you just started 2 conversations.
Okay, go ahead.
1 is the Hitler conversation, and 2 is the Malcolm X conversation. So we're talking about people with nowhere to go and creating a state, or lack thereof, the power to create a state, lack thereof, reparations, Hitler's true intentions. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, Hitler. That's a touchy subject. I'd never publicly.
It's gonna be one.
Because he's enemy number 1.
Number 1. They literally tell you that man is the devil. They paint it. You're not allowed to. Were you the one that told me you're not allowed to name your kid Hitler?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't disagree with it, I guess, but like, wow.
So I guess we'll have to be digging into some Hitler files. And why was Hitler so obsessed with archaeology? And we'll get into it. All right. This is Lord of Lips coming to you guys from the Know-It-Alls page. This is InventiveVitality. We did a long ass live stream. Pray for Haiti. That is real. But we have to pray for Haiti in its fallen state and in their time of not, because right now they're in a state of ignorance. We also want to pray for Syria as Israel continues to march on more territory. They're up in Damascus while the Syrians are celebrating Assad being overthrown because they think that everything is all good. But if you guys remember, the people of Libya did the same thing when Muammar Gaddafi was assassinated. They thought that they were free. And Libya is still a failed state. Same with
more so. Yeah.
So we got to pray for these people. We haven't heard anything about Palestine or the Palestinians. That's a cliff note in the news anymore.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show what their true intentions are. It's never been about Hamas. It's never been about these things.
I think that Palestinian one is so crazy because, like, you know, we had all those free Palestine people in the summer, and then like it was just silent. But like I looked into it, I want to say it was like a week or two ago, and like the numbers of people that are left are crazy low, and they're just fucking stuck. Like they just like bounce around, and then they just bomb that shit, and they're just like running around this like little ass. I mean, you can't even see it on the fucking map. They're just like corner to corner, just bouncing back and forth, just bombing the fuck out of these people. Claiming, I'm done. I'm going home.
Peace.